Greetings, one and all. I want to
Hello.
thank everyone for joining in on Goku or Go Home Episode 4. Today's episode is brought to you by the letter G for Goku. Thank you. Today's episode is made possible by viewers like you.
Oh, man, that's just giving me, like, nostalgia back to when I watched TV at, like, 2 in the morning as a kid. Still not even understanding, like, English.
Your first words were from viewers like you.
That's all I heard. I don't know why.
You must have been watching stuff like PBS, like public access shows.
Actually, yeah. And you would know it's too late when, like, George Lopez starts playing.
Okay, so I know we haven't even started the episode, but I feel like I have to tell this story. When I was, like, in middle school, we were redoing the basement where I was going to have my bedroom, and I couldn't sleep down there because it was not properly ventilated, it was not properly insulated, it was not properly tested for radon. So I had to sleep for a while on the couch, and one of the perks of that was I got to sleep in the living room with the big TV, and I would just leave the TV on and pass out, and then, like you said, 3 in the morning, all of a sudden you hear dunk, 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 brrr, and then Lowrider starts playing. And like I wake up in like a haze, and I go, wow, what's going on? And then, you know, at the very end of the intro for the George Lopez show, he does like this bounce backwards, and like he's looking very intensely at the camera, like he's looking through the camera at you, and he looks kind of angry about it.
Honestly, it's always that hazy feeling too that I still remember to this day. Oh, I miss those times, those ignorant bliss as a child.
I think that we shouldn't be making our podcast about the George Lopez show, but instead about Dragon Ball. That's what Goku or Go Home is, so we should probably get back to that. Hope everyone had a wonderful holiday while we took a week off. I had Thanksgiving, and I was out of state, so I apologize. But we're back. If you have forgotten, my name is Goku. Wait a minute. No, it's not.
I was going to say, if you're Goku, then I guess I'm Krillin.
Do you want to be Krillin? Do you want to be Krillin?
You literally drew me as Krillin.
I did use Krillin as the model sheet when I was looking up at you. My name is Alex. I am 1 year older, but I am not any wiser.
And I'm Phoup. I am the person that'll be talking about Goku and Go Home with Alex here.
So, if you're not familiar with the show, this is where we watch the good old Dargon Balls. I've seen it multiple times, and I give the episode overview. And like Phoup said, he is going to be talking about it. It's his first time through. It's always been a pleasure. So I say that we should jump in with episode 13, The Legend of Goku. And if you forgot about what happened last time, Goku looked directly at the full moon and werewolfified into a giant ape, leaving us with the exciting cliffhanger, and that's directly where we picked up.
Probably one of the best cliffhangers I've ever been left on the show, to be honest.
Oh, it was great because you had no idea like where it was gonna go. The narrator made it sound like, oh, Goku probably just crushed everybody.
I didn't even know they took such. It was a plot twist. I thought they were just gonna smash the glass and just like run away or something.
You know, Goku still had his power pole. Maybe he could just like force it to keep going. And listen, either the glass is gonna break or the power pole is gonna break, and we haven't shown the power pole to break or anything. So, but no, they got out of it. They showed off the moon a lot, and I was like, oh, here we go. Here's the moon. Episode 13 starts up, and we get a real good scale of just how big Goku Kong is, because you see Pilaf's whole castle, and there's just this big ape torso sticking out over the top of it.
I mean, he's the first thing I noticed from that far shot, too, is Goku doing like that charge up that Donkey Kong does in Smash before he wails at like a tower.
Yeah, he winds his arm.
He
like
winds up his like left arm. I had to pause after that. I don't know why.
You
If
saw
you
it and you're
guys
like,
haven't
what?
Yeah, Donkey Kong is like probably my most played character in Smash. He's not even my main.
And now you can imagine that you're playing as Kid Goku, all aped up.
I still lose
You still lose.
terribly to my brother and my sister, though.
Goku roars and Pilaf wakes up and he says, I dreamt that I was a bee and I was about to sting someone, and then he immediately turns over and falls back asleep. And I'm like, yeah, I sleep like that.
Really? It was such a random remark, but I honestly shouldn't complain either.
Well, he knows even his dreams are bad. He's a bad man. He wants to sting people as a bee. And it does come into play just in a little bit here.
I guess I was just thrown off a little bit because he said bee. So I just couldn't correlate Pilaf wanting to be a bee. You know what I mean?
Well, I think part of it is that we took a week away from Dragon Ball shenanigans. So, like, it's like we're easing back into it.
Okay. Yeah, I guess that is true.
You know, nobody shit themselves yet. Goku crushes the roof of Pilaf's bedchambers, and Mai and Shu are immediately awake, but Pilaf still thinks that he's a bee, and he says, Don't take my honey, you mean old bear. And I'm like, okay, sure, you know, Goku's roaring at him, he thinks he's a bee, sure, we can make this work. Once all three are awake, they attempt to kill Ape Goku by throwing slippers and pillows at him. Shu, he throws like a lamp at it, and he goes, "Take this, you monster!" Shu's the best.
Yeah, and after Shu and Mai were through and all that stuff, Pilaf goes. Haven't you guys ever learned how to like drive off a monster?
Yeah, like, kill it. Just throw pillows.
And Pilaf starts making noises. It's like ooh ee, ooh. Something like that.
Yeah, I think what he was trying to do is, you know, what do you do when there's a bear? You try to make yourself look real big, and you make a loud noise and try to scare it away.
Intimidated.
Yeah. Ooh, ee, ooh. Their efforts are in vain as Goku continues to smash up the castle, and it gives the rest of the gang time to escape. And while Yamcha has gotten better at talking to Bulma, he still has some fears to overcome because he hesitates to help her up over the wall, because that would involve touching her. And it dawned on me, I don't think Bulma realizes that she's a problem for him yet. Like, every time that she's kind of like, oh, catch me or whatever, and then he, like, throws her on the floor or something, she's always like, what was that for? And he never explains.
Never really direct about his like issues with the female anatomy.
Hey, listen, he's seen some booba too many times.
But
it's terrifying.
I think I'm kind of, if you're gonna put it like that, I'm kind of on Bulma's side though, because I probably wouldn't even know that he would have an issue with girls if I was in Bulma's shoes.
Yeah, no, this isn't a jab at Bulma. This is a, come on, Yamcha, you couldn't have explained this while you were in the hole.
Oh, okay, yeah, that would make more sense then.
Mm-hmm. Mai, Shu, and Pilaf try to escape via a prop plane that won't start, and Pilaf actually gets one of the biggest laughs out of me for a change. When Pilaf asks why the plane isn't starting, Mai sarcastically says, well, maybe it's because you aren't yelling loud enough. And Pilaf just yells.
He yells even loud. He actually starts yelling louder. I was actually like really happy that Mai was actually like sarcastic towards Pilaf.
You know,
and Pilaf did like gripe back at her. Yeah, he actually just starts yelling louder.
Like, he believes that she's being serious. At this point, I have to ask again. Are Mai and Shu the only ones that work for Pilaf? Because nobody else is, like, escaping? Not even the dogs that we saw in the previous set?
Oh, those dogs are probably dead.
Oh, they're dead. They're so dead. Like Goku was going to eat all those dogs regardless, but now, no, there's not a chance.
So I think it's safe to say Shu and Mai are the only people that's working for Pilaf.
The only ones that are left working. If there was any before, they're the only ones left.
Mm-hmm.
They get the plane started, and they escape. And it was at this moment that I realized that they totally could do a King Kong scene where Goku's like climbing a tower and they're shooting at him from the plane. And I was like, oh, this would be really nice.
I was thinking that too. But Goku destroyed every tower.
he did destroy every tower, but later on in the episode, I do get my moment, and I was pretty stoked about it.
Yeah.
The rest of the Goku gang escapes. Bulma falls and hurts her leg, forcing Yamcha to deal with his fears head-on, because he's the only one who can carry Bulma. Though, shockingly, I noticed this, before he even makes an attempt, Oolong tries to help her. Oolong! Who hates Bulma! He's like the first to run up to her. He's like, oh, come on, Bulma, we gotta get out of here.
I could see that happening, yeah. You could hate your friends and still help each other. I got a buddy at work, or I got two buddies at work. Man, they got such a hateful relationship. But they still help each other out. And that's kind of how I see Bulma and Oolong.
Okay.
It's like I work at a restaurant, and let's say one of them comes into the kitchen, says one word. The other guy is like, "Man, said one word. I already hate you, man. Get out of the kitchen."
I feel so bad because there's been like 2 times in my life, and I cannot explain why. The reasoning for this is, you try to be nice to everyone that you meet, and if there's just these differences you can't reconcile, then you can't be friends or whatever. But like there's once in high school and once in college, there was just these 2 guys, and they didn't say a single word to me. I didn't know anything about them. I stepped into the classroom, and from day one I looked at them and said, God, I hate their face. Like, oh man.
Okay. I don't think I've ever gotten that far to hating someone or resenting someone, but
I've never felt like that before.
I don't think they were my coworkers at work are like that, or my buddies. They don't like hate each other, but they can hate on each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like this is the kind of relationship I see Oolong and Bulma having.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be surprised if Oolong also booked it himself too.
Yep.
but
I was ready for it.
But I'm pretty sure Bulma was like genuinely injured this time. Like if she just tripped.
No,
I think Oolong would have still booked it.
I think
like,
she
just stumbled.
Yeah, I think she like twisted her ankle or something.
Yeah.
Yamcha sucks it up and takes off running, and he's got everyone under his arm. So he's got Bulma, Puar, and Oolong, and he's just like hoofing it.
The man's got adrenaline going on. He's getting chased by a giant ape, and he's like holding his worst nightmare.
Yep. They by this point they've reused a few shots of Goku smashing stuff up, but I'm not going to blame them for saving money.
No, I'm fine with that. Really, that's something that I can understand.
It works really well for like transition shots. Like, we have this Yamcha scene happening. Throw in a shot of Goku swiping at some building or whatever. Okay, now we're on to the next one. Now we're going to talk about Pilaf.
But hold on, I'm pretty sure. I was like, when I was watching this episode go down, I was like, damn, they're really going to just show Goku beat up on Pilaf's castle all
the entire episode?
All episode, aren't they? Because I looked at the time, at like, what do you call it again? Like
the time code?
The time code?
Yeah.
I was like, man, we're like 15 minutes in, he's still smashing the same building.
He hates the architecture. Pilaf is pissed that this big-ass monkey is smashing up his castle, and he demands to go back and fight it, and he's willing to kamikaze his plane into Goku's nose if it will kill him.
Like, I'm not all of us, sir, but I literally thought he was just going to say, like, up his ass. It's like, if we have to drive his nose. There was like, I don't care if we have to fly this plane up his nose. I'm like, oh, he's going to say ass? It's just like, straight.
Just fly it right up there. Now that the Goku gang has escaped, Yamcha's hyperventilating, and he's super overwhelmed by the whole ordeal. And Bulma pulls the whole, oh, you're my knight in shining armor. And he just has another panic attack and just chucks her on the floor. I love this joke where Yamcha clearly has, like, he does something noble or whatever, and then she just gets thrown. It's fantastic. He says something along the lines of, "I can't believe I touched a girl and I'm still all right."
I was really proud of Yamcha. I'm not gonna lie. I was really happy. He actually like faced his fears.
He stepped up. He comes in clutch when he needs to. Yeah, I still think that anyone who doesn't like Yamcha has not seen original Dragon Ball, because he's pretty good here.
Mm-hmm.
And this is about where my King Kong dream happened, because Pilaf's flying around in his plane, and he's shooting at Goku, and he's swatting back at it, and I'm like, yeah, here we go.
This is where I laughed at Pilaf before he started shooting. He's like, "Eat lead, you big baboon."
Yeah.
And I was like, what did he say?
Well, the thing that made me laugh was Yamcha looks up, and he's like, "Oh no, Goku's gonna get hurt." But even though, like, this is encounter number 8 or something, where guns were involved, like, Goku should be fine. I mean, sure, plain bullets are going to be tougher than regular bullets, but Goku's a literal gorilla right now, and so I'm pretty sure he's tougher, too.
Mm-hmm.
I would not be worried. Not in the slightest.
Nah.
They do make it a point to show bullets hitting his tail, which we know is his weak spot, but that just makes him mad. Like, he turns red and he roars even louder. They find that the bullets aren't working, and I could have told you that. So they decide to fire the heat-seeking missile, which hits Goku in the face. And it actually knocks him over, and everyone seems to think that he is dead. Like, even the Pilaf gang leaves the safety of their plane to investigate, which I would never do.
No.
If I was a bad guy, I would simply leave.
I'm pretty sure that was an actual scene from King Kong as well.
Yeah, where they shoot him off the top of the tower and he falls and he's laying there dead and everyone surrounds him. I wrote this Shu line down because they're out there.
I think we have the same one.
Shu says, "Wow, he sure is huge. And smelly."
He cut me off. I was like, oh yeah, I could agree with you, Shu. He's like, after he just pauses after huge. He's like, it's like, should I say it? And smelly.
And smelly. Pilaf takes out his anger on the giant Goku ape and kicks him a few times, but when he starts stomping on the tail, it begins to wake Goku up. Bulma is relieved that Goku has survived a missile. I don't think that anyone should have been surprised.
Yeah, I don't think they should have either.
Pilaf tries to escape, but Goku picks up a piece of his castle and hurks it at him, sending them all down in the plane. And the plane explodes. None of the Pilaf gang ejected from the plane. All of them are in the explosion. All of them survive.
I was caught off guard with the explosion.
It was huge.
It took up the whole frame.
Remember when Pilaf sent Mai and Shu with the bomb to blow up the van?
Mm-hmm.
And the van was supposed to be a big explosion? No, this is like an atom bomb going off in the desert.
They were far. Like they were, guys. They've spiraled out of control all the way across the horizon, and the plane turned into like a pixel. I thought they were only gonna crash and see like smoke. No, the whole frame just lit up from the explosion.
It caught me so off guard, and then
it caught me off guard.
And then after the explosion's over, it cuts closer, and you see all of them, and they're just like crispy. They're just crispy and standing there, and Pilaf goes, "Well, at least my head doesn't hurt." And then a piece of metal just from the plane falls out of the sky and hits him on the head, and it's great.
Did you see Shu? Did you see how he looked?
He was all like fluffed out.
He was like fluffed out. His tooth was like crooked, and his whiskers are like zigzag. It didn't look like he belonged in the show.
No.
It looked like he belonged in one of those like original Boomerang cartoons.
Okay, yeah.
From like Tom and Jerry, from like when they got blown up.
I always like anytime that we have these like super bug-eyed expressions or whatever, just because it's Dragon Ball, but you clearly see, like you said, the Looney Tunes or the Tom and Jerry influence.
Yeah.
It's always fun to see. So the chunk of the castle that destroyed Pilaf's plane almost lands on Goku's friends, and it seems that they're all okay, but Bulma's still trapped under the rubble, and Goku notices and just starts hoofing it towards them. Like, he starts running.
Before he starts monkey power walking towards them.
Like, that's one of the, like, I'm just trying to imagine this, like, skyscraper-sized ape singling you out and just power walking.
Before he starts getting over there, Oolong, Yamcha, and what was Yamcha's friend name
Puar.
again? Puar. They managed to dodge it, and they just like dust off the dust, like brush off the dust from their clothes. Like, all right, boys, let's head out.
Yeah, let's just go home.
And then they're like, aren't you forgetting something? Bulma's like under the rubble.
Yeah. She's got like little dot eyes.
I laughed even harder because I forgot about Bulma.
Well, maybe I assumed that they were just going to be fine because they're the good guys and Bulma obviously is okay. But she was trapped.
Like, I thought they all dodged it. That's why. So I thought like Bulma was just going to catch up with them in a second or something. I don't think she would have caught up if that monkey was on the way like that.
Well, remember you had said that Yamcha's pretty much running on adrenaline the entire time. I have my note here. Yamcha manages to lift the entire chunk of the castle all on his own.
This was a big piece. Like, this was like a good chunk.
It was like the top part of a tower or something.
Yeah.
And I made a note here. I'm like, I don't know where everyone's sitting on my terms of character rankings, but Yamcha is like up at the top right now.
Oh wow, you have a character ranking?
Well, in my head, I just go like, man, Bulma's great in this episode. She's up there right now. Goku's always good. He's a good kid. He's a nice kid. I like him. He's always at the top. But anytime Yamcha does something like he faces his fears or he does something cool like that, I'm like, oh wow, Yamcha's really good this episode. Goku stomps on the ground and pops Bulma up into the air, and he catches her and he dangles her over his mouth. And there's this really good cut where she's screaming and then faints with like this plock sound effect. Like she's like, ah! And just she's out.
I'm just gonna say, like, these 4 episodes that we've watched for this podcast, they've had some great sound effects. Just like great noises in general that they put.
I've always loved the sound design for Dragon Ball. It's cartoony and it's cartoony when they want it to be. It's mechanical when they need it to be, and it's all very tactile, acoustic. I don't know exactly what you want to call it. It all feels real.
How I would put it is just that it fits. It's like the right kind of audio you'll have for comedy. It fits the scenario, it fits the character. I think whenever I watch shows and stuff, I think the number one thing that usually puts me off are voices that don't fit characters. And we talked about this before with how Goku's voice in Japanese
is a little old lady who works well for Kid Goku. I'm not going to lie, it fits for Kid Goku. But when Goku grows up... In my opinion, I don't think I'd be able to watch it. No, I don't think I would. It doesn't fit
for me. Yeah, it doesn't fit for me.
So far, I'm going to say pretty much everyone in this show has been really well cast. Yeah. I don't think that there's anyone that I don't like. At least off the top of my head.
Yeah, no, I can't say anything either at the moment. I think my favorite voice actor right now is probably, or like the voice for the characters, is it's probably Master Roshi.
Oh, Master Roshi is perfectly cast.
Yeah.
I was so happy that he was in more episodes than this one. Puar reminds Yamcha that Goku's weak point is his tail, and Yamcha uses his Wolf Fang fist on some stone to carve it in the shape of his cool sword. And that was a flourish. He didn't need to do that.
Oh, that was just for style points. Because after he proceeds to form these stones from the tower that he used his Wolf Fang punches on, as he goes for the cut, The first image I had in my head was when I was using Sword and Shield in Monster Hunter, going for the Rajang tail. Goes for the swing, the sword just shatters.
That's my next note, and I just said, "You did your best, Yamcha."
I really thought it was gonna do something too.
Yamcha was gonna save the day until he didn't. Yamcha grabs onto the tail, and that makes Goku mad. But then Puar and Oolong also jump on the tail, and he kind of like gets sedated, like he gets sleepy. And
I don't know how that.
They did briefly mention when Chi-Chi was introduced, and she grabbed onto his tail. And first he was like, oh shit, oh my god, that hurts, that sucks. And
he
then
literally like fell over.
Yeah, he fell over, and then he says something like, you grab onto my tail and I lose all my power.
Oh, he did say that. I forgot about that. Okay. I knew it was his weak, but I just didn't understand how it was his weak point, you know?
Yeah, you grab onto it and he loses his power.
Okay.
I made another note here that said, Oolong is being super supportive this episode. He's just jumping into the fray at every opportunity.
I think it's cool.
Hey, listen, he got his underwear and he is just living life to the extreme.
It's like an ego boost for him.
That's his Super Saiyan. They see this as their chance, and Yamcha tells Puar to turn into a giant pair of scissors and cut off his tail. And my first thought was, so does Oolong just really suck at transformation? Like, by, what's it called? Transitive property? Because Puar keeps, like, hitting these transformations out of the park, Oolong sucks more by comparison.
What if it's more like a Pokemon trainer thing? Oolong can't transform unless Bulma tells him to.
Well, it's not that Oolong didn't transform. It's just every time that Puar transforms, it's always, like, exactly what they need. Like, when Oolong transformed into the scooter, he didn't have the strength to hold up Bulma. But when Puar turns into these scissors, she's sharp enough to cut through the tail.
Man, I literally wrote up, straight up, quotation, cut his tail. And I said, there's no way.
Oh, and when that tail gets cut off, I squirmed.
Really?
It feels wrong to watch, and I'll try to explain it here.
But you're like an OG Monster Hunter, though.
I know, but like here's why.
Okay.
It's part of the sound design, because they have that like meaty kind of sound.
Yeah.
And like the scissors catch briefly as it's cutting through the meat and bones. Like in my brain, when I saw that happen, I was imagining like scissors cutting through your finger. And I was like, "Ugh."
I'd say that's a good comparison. I was watching my brother play Yakuza 0, and we got to...
We just talked about Yakuza before.
Is it safe to assume everyone's played Yakuza 0 at this point?
It's the most popular one in the franchise, I'd say.
Okay. Because, like, it's a Yakuza game.
Yeah.
So, of course, you're going to see scenes of... I probably won't say who, I guess, but, like, people cutting off their pinky because, they messed up. They messed up hard. They messed up real big time. Mm-hmm. So they didn't show it, but like.
Oh yeah, that's pretty early in the game, though.
Yeah, it's pretty early in the game, but I've also been told that biting a carrot is like the same as biting your pinky.
I don't know how much of that I believe, but also I don't want to test that theory out. Like, the same force of biting through a carrot could bite through your pinky is essentially what the legend is.
Not a baby carrot. I don't know. I just heard carrot. But anyways, sorry for putting that through everyone's head.
Goku shrinks back down to his original size and passes out on the ground. And were you at all surprised that he was just splayed out like that by this point? I mean, this is Akira Toriyama that we're talking about here. Like, he's just butt-ass naked on the ground, legs spread, arms spread, like a starfish.
I was not too surprised.
No, of course not.
I was wondering where the tail was, and we're gonna get there like right now. I was like, huh. So Goku was the beast, and then Bulma was like, how are we going to tell him? who's gonna tell him?
Oh yeah, that's right. That was they're like, we're not gonna do this. That would break his little heart.
Yeah, that would break his heart. But Bulma's like, all right, who's gonna tell him? And I forgot who, but I think it was probably Oolong or something, or maybe it was Bulma correcting us. I was like, oh, maybe we shouldn't tell him.
Well, Oolong starts to say something, and they cover up his mouth.
Ah, okay. So it almost slipped. Oolong almost made it slip.
Mm-hmm. But before all that happens, Pilaf realizes that Goku was the one destroying everything and wonders why they didn't kill him when they had the chance. And Shu remarks, "Because you wanted them to bake, sire." And he's like, "Oh yeah, well this is still all your fault."
What an ass, bro.
Sire, this was your plan.
I would have been so mad. I would have had enough after that.
Mm-hmm. They all make a tactical retreat though, so Pilaf and his goons get away to fight another day. This won't be the last time we hear of the great Emperor Pilaf.
Mm-hmm.
The sun rises and it dawns on me. Jokes. The sun rises and it dawns on me that they literally just let Goku sleep on the ground, butt-ass naked, the whole night.
No, I think Bulma was nice enough to give her like her what do you call it, like a vest?
They cover him up with the little vest.
I'm pretty sure it was just not to look at a naked child on.
Yeah, like they didn't put it underneath him or anything. They didn't like
the desert gets cold.
Yeah, no, yeah, he was just laying on that cold sand all night.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is where they talk about keeping the truth from Goku. And Oolong asks what Goku's deal is, asking if he's some kind of alien. Yeah. What if?
A lot of foreshadowing.
Mm-hmm.
But before this, was it during the dawn, or was it when Goku turned back to a kid that Oolong was holding his tail?
Yeah, he picks up his tail and he kind of holds it and it's dangling and it's like, I don't know.
Would you have the guts to hold someone else's recently severed off tail?
Well, that's the thing. Like, we don't have tails, but like, think about it like this: my left ear turns me into a monster, and you cut off my ear, thus reverting me back into a human being. Would you pick up my ear?
Oh, I'd Mike Tyson, yo.
You'd eat it. Make sure that the evidence was gone. Okay, maybe I shouldn't ask you to do any of these hypotheticals.
And I know you got a second one, too.
You're looming over me, you're licking your lips, you're like, he's got another one.
I think it was just you choosing the ear. I don't know. I'd probably still be able to pick it up. I don't know where I'd put it. I'd be like, hey, Goku,
you want this back? Well, he does ask to see it, or he does ask to go looking for it or whatever. Mm-hmm. They suspect that Goku will be normal from now on without a tail, and I don't know what leads them to think that, other than the fact that they're right for whatever reason. Like,
I just went along with it.
Yep, yeah, I just went along with it. I was like, yeah, sure, let's patch the end of this arc up and go home.
Yeah. What an arc! What an arc!
Oh yeah, no.
But it's not even. We're not even done with that.
We're not quite done. Yet. Nope. Goku wakes up and Bulma says that Oolong should share some of his clothes, but he is super attached to those the undies on his head, claiming that they are made of the softest cotton in the universe, and that was a good wish. He ends up giving him his pants, of course, but Goku can't even stand right because he doesn't know how to balance without his tail, and he is shocked that he lost it. And when I say that he lost it, I mean he thinks that it up and left of its own free will and will come back whenever it wanted to. And I was like, yeah, Goku's an idiot. He can't even run without falling on his face every few steps. And when
I thought it was pretty cute. Yeah,
he runs off to get his power pull from the rubble.
Mm-hmm. That's something I personally see a lot in kids for some reason, though. I don't know why they just
run and fall.
They always stumble. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
My little brother stopped stumbling by the time he was like 5 or 6, and this kid was like running marathons in the house.
I'm glad that they remembered to go back for the power pole instead of just letting him have it when he woke up.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, sure, that's real.
Mm-hmm.
While Goku looks for his power pole, the rest of the gang wonder what to do for the whole year while they wait for the Dragon Balls to reactivate. Bulma laments about having to wait for a boyfriend, and Yamcha complains that he'll have to wait a whole year to talk to girls and get a girlfriend. And they look at each other and go, wait a minute. This is where Goku returns and finds that Yamcha and Bulma are dancing and holding hands, and they can hit 2 birds with 1 stone by dating.
I was actually really proud of them for doing that, you know?
They don't need a magic dragon.
Yeah. So they don't have to drag on this whole I want to wish a boyfriend, and because I think eventually that whole thing would get old for me eventually.
Mm-hmm. Like, it was only 1 arc, and even Oolong was not happy about it.
Oh no, his arms was crossed. He was he's like, ugh. Like, he's like,
get a room.
Yeah.
But, you know, you're watching all of this for the first time. I'm watching this after seeing, like, even Dragon Ball Z and everything, and I go, yeah, you know Vegeta's out there somewhere, right? Oh, you kids are happy? All right. We'll see how you feel in a couple of years.
But I actually didn't think they were actually going to go through with it until, like, they went to that scene of them dancing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I didn't think they were, like, Yamcha was going to be able to make physical contact with Bulma. I thought they were just going to be standing next to each other all shy, kind of, like, having, like, the same thought.
Well,
but no, they were, like, full-on dancing.
Yeah. Yamcha clearly still has some problems later on in a different episode, but they're not as bad now. I think he's able to work through it with someone constant, and the fact that he now just has a girlfriend, he doesn't have to worry about being able to talk to the girl and ask them out on a date or whatever. Mm-hmm. Dragon Ball's a good show. I'm like, the words that just came out of my mouth, and I was just like, yeah, Dragon Ball's a good show.
This was a pretty good arc. I really enjoyed it.
Which kind of surprises me because a lot of people say that the first arc is Dragon Ball's weakest.
Really? Yep. Maybe it's because as they've watched it, maybe they just do a better job because it's the series is probably more developed, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And they can work with it. I think that's a little bit too hard to say on a series that's just starting to roll. Like, one of my other favorite series is Gintama, right?
Mm-hmm.
Dude, do you know how many episodes they had to play to possibly try to introduce every single character in that show? It was like a whole arc in itself.
Just introducing everybody.
Introducing a new character in like every episode. My cousins were like, "Bro, when is this anime gonna pick up?" I'm like, "Well, I mean,
it gets good 300 episodes in."
Yeah, Gintama is like one of those shows where it's like it's a little bit of everything. Their filler episodes works because it's just their daily life in their series. Mm-hmm. Because they do odd jobs and stuff too.
And that's why I like Dragon Ball filler also, because we've already hit filler and there's some in this set too, and I'm just like, no, these are all good.
It's like it's literally meant for the show, these fillers. Yeah. They even break the fourth wall sometimes too.
Oh yeah, I'm fully aware of that series too.
So I think saying that is a little unfair in my opinion, but if you're just stating a fact, then I guess it'll be the weakest then. But I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I always enjoyed the entire spectrum of Dragon Ball, but that's just what the general consensus is.
Mm-hmm. Who knows? Maybe my opinion will change too down the road. I think this arc in itself will hold its own values. Yeah.
Like, I always see people comparing it to, like, say, the final arc of the series, and I go, man, that's not even fair, because these are two totally, completely different shows by this point.
Yeah.
Like, oh, the villains in the first part suck, while the villain at the end is really good. I'm like, yeah, but these are comedy villains, not
It's
a villain.
yeah, it's like this these first like 13 episodes was like getting your feet wet about what the show is going to be like, who they are, and what to expect, you know?
Mm-hmm. They did a lot of footwork. They showed off what the Search for the Dragon Balls looks like. They showed off all the characters that you're going to need, but not all of them because more show up later. So it's a good world.
So if you were to recommend this series Dragon Ball to anyone else, so far I'm enjoying it. And if they didn't like the first arc, would you tell them to continue watching it all?
I would ask what didn't they like about it and what were you hoping for it, because it does pivot pretty soon.
Okay.
I want to Oh yeah. I made a note at the end because I was looking at the episode titles and I was like, "Really? Okay. All right, we're already moving to a different format essentially."
Okay.
So, I would ask what they were looking for, and if that is in this next set, I would say stick through with it because you're gonna get something that you enjoy.
Okay, that's cool.
Different, but still good.
Mm-hmm.
This is where everyone decides that they're gonna go back to the city, and Goku declines because he wants to go to Master Roshi's Love Shack and get some training, or the same training that his grandpa got.
How do you pronounce Master Roshi's house? The name?
The Kame House.
The Kame House. Okay, that's okay. I should have known, but for some reason I doubted myself when I saw it.
What did you think it was?
Just straight up came out. Like, I was like, I know it's Kame, but what if?
Oh, Master Roshi's Love Shack? The Cum House?
You come and you came. That's how it goes.
Oh my god, what are we doing with our lives? Goku wants the same training that his grandpa got, and his reasoning is that when he hit the castle, it didn't even budge. But someone else was able to destroy the whole thing. Goku, that was you, but shh. Goku says that in a year that they should all go looking for the Dragon Balls again, but Bulma and Yamcha claim that they don't need it anymore, so she gives Goku the Dragon Radar so he can go find his grandpa's 4-star ball. And I'm glad that she didn't forget about Goku's 4-star ball. Mm-hmm. And this is where, like, it's the real sense of finality. This is the end of the arc. They're all saying their goodbyes and they're going their separate ways. And what really hammers it home, Mystical Adventure starts playing, baby! Like, it shows up as they're flying away. It's like, bum 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 ba-da, ba-ba-da-da-da-da. And the narrator picks up as they're flying off, and they're talking about the next arc, about new challenges are around the corner, and Goku will be put to the test. And if you ended it right there, and you were just like, wow, that was a really compact set of episodes, and you look at the greater scope of everything that's in Dragon Ball as a franchise, it's just a tiny blip.
Huh.
And I'm just like, man, don't you remember when Goku and Frieza fought for like 50 episodes?
I can't say.
I know.
But that's how I felt when I watched Naruto.
Oh my god, Naruto is a very long anime as well.
I first had that feeling of like, how long is this fight? For God's sakes, is when who was the Hokage when Naruto was still a kid?
I'm gonna lose my anime expert cred. I have not actually watched Naruto.
Oh, no worry. I don't think I finished Naruto, and I did not start Shippuden. But one of the Hokages was fighting one of the bad guys, and it went on forever. And it felt forever too, because they weren't even fighting. They were just like standing in a stalemate, like high noon.
Okay, so I'm gonna do a little spoiler for you. There's a point in the Goku Frieza fight in Dragon Ball Z where Goku is charging one of his ultimate moves, and he's standing there with his hands up in the sky. And he stands there for like 2 or 3 episodes.
Are you shitting me, bro?
He's not moving the entire time. Now,
There's
granted,
no way.
other things are happening, but every time they cut back to Goku, he's just standing there with his hands up.
All my coworkers at work actually started watching Dragon Ball, and I think they're like on episode 20 something. They're like, "Oh yeah, you should come watch it with us." I'm like, Nah,
I'm doing a show.
dude, I'm watching Dragon Ball first. I'm gonna do this.
Doing it right.
I'm gonna do this right.
All right. Proud of you. I'm proud of you. I know where the series goes from this point, and just knowing that the next section is heavily featuring Master Roshi, we're getting to good shit.
Mm-hmm.
Episode 14 is Goku's Rival. And Goku starts off the episode by returning back to his house, and the first thought that I had was, oh yeah, we get to see Goku's little single-tier Chinese pagoda. And then we are hit with the most, like, it's a cut, and we get the most Asian-style gong that you've ever heard, and I was like, yeah, casual racism! Way to go, brain!
We used to have a gong in my house, I'm not gonna lie.
Of course you did. Of course you did. Why not? So,
granted, it wasn't that big.
No, I imagine it's just like a little handheld one. So, I'm going to make a rather a culture comparison, we'll call it.
Oh yeah.
So, my grandpa, he worked a farm, and so we have a big old triangle, like a metal triangle. And you have a little metal rod, and you bang it around the inside of the triangle, and it's like, oh, dinner time. You bang the triangle a few times, and that's when people would come in from the farm and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Did you hold your little gong outside the front door and start banging on it with a little gong mallet when it was dinner time? And it's like, all right, Dad, come on.
Nah, we just I think in my culture the gong was used for more music and religion.
Oh, okay.
So when I found it as a kid, I was a menace to this household because I would keep hitting it. So they hid it. So I haven't seen it for more than 15 years, but I still remember what it looks like to this day. I will find it. I just don't know where it is.
Excellent work.
And sometimes I guess you would bring it to the temple, but we would only bust it out at home for like if we do ceremonies, I think.
Oh, we're busting it out, all right.
Yeah, there's like, because at the temple they already got a massive gong.
Yeah. I have
they
several...
would do parades around the temple, and like the OGs, like the old grandpas would be hauling ass with this gong on their shoulders, just ringing it. And I'm like, God damn.
I'm gonna have more questions for monks and temples and stuff as we go along here, because Krillin as a character is a very like Shaolin monk inspired kind of character.
Oh yeah. Now remember, guys. When I speak, I'm speaking from my own personal culture here.
That's true. That's true. I'm not
speaking for the overall of monks. If I say the monks from my country go up into the mountains, you don't see them for years. Assume that maybe half of them do that. Okay.
How many of those guys die up there?
I've heard. Actually, I don't know if they still do go up into the mountains like that in this modern day.
It's not very safe. You crazy? There's bears up there.
Because I would read like texts and stuff like when I was in my home country, Laos, because there's a temple literally. So my grandma and grandpa's neighbor, there's like a dirt street. 10 feet in front of our house is a temple.
All right.
And that's where I kind of educated myself on. It was a little hard because there's a language barrier, but I've learned that they went up some, depending on how hardcore of a monk you want to be. I think one of the most hardcore ones was like you would go up to the mountains by yourself, follow the ways of Buddha, and there were some people that died, but I don't remember when they did that or if they still do that today, modern times.
I see.
Yeah. It was great because out of nowhere, the head monk at that temple spoke English. And I was like, how did you learn how to speak English? He's like, I don't know how to tell you.
Uh-oh. I have a feeling that he had some light reading like Master Roshi had. Oh, we'll get to that. Goku changes clothes and packs for his trip to Master Roshi's place, and I'm always excited because Master Roshi being involved with anything is always fun for me.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, Yamcha doesn't know how to fly and crashes his little plane thing in the jungle, but thankfully everyone ejected before it exploded in a horrific yet really well animated accident.
How did they crash the plane?
So I made this note too. They gloss over how they crashed by saying, wow, those ships still have some kinks in them. And I'm like, what? Why would they release... No, they would not do that. They wouldn't just, release a car that just up and randomly exploded all the time, would they? That's not just a kink, it falls out of the sky.
Who was the one that had the dino pod for the plane? Was it Yamcha or was it Bulma?
That was Yamcha's last dino cap.
Pretty sure Yamcha forgot to... didn't receive the last recall for those dino caps. Yeah.
They sent out a letter to all the owners, but he probably stole it, so he didn't know.
Oh. I think about that because I worked at Mazda, remember?
Mm-hmm.
And I remember a mechanic was like, "Oh my god, you haven't brought your car in for a single recall. What are you doing, man?"
Your car's gonna explode if you hit it right.
And of course I forgot the policy because there were recalls and stuff. I think they had to do it anyways for them.
Mm-hmm.
Without charge because it's a recall. Yeah, but wow, that was a funny. It was a funny scene.
Yeah, they just have some kinks. Don't worry about it. So now they're stranded in this jungle, and they don't have any new dino caps, and we even get a brief cameo, either from the pterodactyl from the first episode, or the same species, but that dude's always fun to see.
I just wrote down more dino scenes.
Yep, more dino scenes! They hear a human battle cry, and they take off running, giving us our first look at a little blue man running at incredible speeds. He kicks some trees. He was blue! He kicks some trees, and he knocks them all over. I mean, he wasn't actually blue, because as soon as the light...
He was purple for me.
Phoup, I think you might be slightly colorblind.
There's no way.
Is your monitor okay?
Maybe that's what it was at. Okay. That dude was purple as the Minnesota Vikings.
I have a note on here that says Blue Man Group. So maybe
it was my monitor.
Maybe it was mine. I don't know.
I don't know. The monitor that I have, it's not that good when it comes to color accuracy.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I can say. But I laughed because I yelled, "Why is he purple?"
Yes, we get our first reveal of a little bald monk-looking dude, and I made a note that says, "How does it feel to see your future self on screen, Phoup?" Just a little bald man.
I was laughing because I already said it. I was like, "Why is he purple?" And I'm like, "This is who he drew me." I was in disbelief, Alex. In all my years of being surrounded by Dragon Ball,
Mm-hmm.
not actually watching it, after where we met from where we worked or having friends that watched Dragon Ball, not a single person ever mentioned that this monk can change colors.
It's crazy how it never comes up, right? We get a good montage here of Goku riding the Nimbus all over, and you get some really good animation as he weaves through trees and he skims over water. And he's having the time of his life, and so was I, because I'm super easy to please, and Mystic Adventure is playing in the background again. Anytime you have a montage, that's like the cherry on top of the sundae. It's like, I'm so hyped for every adventure that we're gonna go on. It's gonna be great.
I had really fun watching that montage, but I was also slightly jealous. Hold on, if I sound far away, I'm just grabbing something real quick.
Are you getting another donut?
How'd you know?
You bastard. Yeah, you know what? Hey, you know what? I'm glad I based you off of Krillin because he's a little bastard man, and so are you.
He's kind of a prick.
So yes, about this montage.
I was a little bit jealous because I'm a little bit of adrenaline junkie, and I was like, damn, I really wish I could I hate seeing other people live in my dreams.
He's flying, like, he goes up a cliffside, and he goes through, like, a cave, and he spirals around, and he's...
Oh, yeah. Ever since I was a kid, I can ride roller coasters for hours upon hours.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not now. Had a cousin that kind of ruined it for me with the teacup ride. He was like a frontliner. Played for the football team. Weighs like 300-400 pounds. He was a big guy, but he was younger than me. I made the wrong decision to ride the teacup ride with him. I was hanging on to that wheel for my dear life, and the G-force just flew me. And this was like in the area for Valley Fair, right?
Yep.
This was no teacup for the adults. No, this was in the children's section of rides. So you see like the moms and stuff watching me just dying on this teacup ride with my arms over the teacup, just swinging and just going in circles.
I'm just imagining, you know, like they're watching it with their kids, and they like slowly like hurry them away.
No, they couldn't get their eyes off of me. They couldn't believe what they were seeing. I was a different man after that ride, Alex. Let me say that.
Goku lands at Master Roshi's place, the Kame House, and he calls out for him, but no one answers. As he checks the window, he hears a voice go, "That's right, girls. 1, 2, 1, 2." And it's revealed that my dog, Master Roshi, spends his time watching girls and workout videos all day. And this is like, if you forgot who Master Roshi is, what a great way to come back to him. Like, he's right up against that TV going like, "Oh yeah, 1, 2, 1, 2, looking good, ladies." And like, you can see the reflection of their crotches in his glasses. He is unstoppable.
Man. I think he said something pretty funny too. It's like 1, 2, 1 for me and 2 for you, or something like that.
Yeah, something I love. Anytime that he mumbles to himself, it's always something gold, like that. He's like, "Oh, yeah, well, 1 for me and 2 for you. Yeah, oh yeah." He calls aerobics a gift from the heavens amidst his ramblings. Goku takes a deep breath and yells in Master Roshi's ear, finally getting his attention, and he claims that he's interrupting his morning workout.
Oh, that's great. And you could just see him kind of just swinging, just a little bit, swaying left to right with the girls in the TV.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, Master Roshi getting that workout. He tells Goku that he should get something from the kitchen if he's hungry, and he tells Goku to grab something that you like, and very quietly adds on, "Like I am." He's the worst, but he's also the best.
I actually thought Master Roshi wasn't going to have any food.
Oh, no.
I thought Goku was going to show up to his house, be like, "Hey, Master Roshi, I'm hungry." He's like, "Well, that's too bad, Sonny."
Sucks to be you. Knowing how much Goku eats, though, this is already a bad idea. And it's revealed here, Goku's never seen a fridge before, so we get a little more naive Goku.
Yeah. I was surprised to see that too, but I guess that's the first for everything, even for Goku.
Mm-hmm.
Even after he discovers the fridge, the man just goes ham at it. Like, literally goes for the ham first.
Oh, he takes everything out. He starts eating Roshi at a house and home, but he's glued to the TV. He's laughing like that old prospector that he is, but he's not digging for gold. Oh, no. He's got a different kind of booty in mind, that's for sure. After the video's done, he stands up, and it took me until now to realize that he's got a new outfit on. It's just like a red t-shirt and some yellow shorts, but the shorts are pulled up like halfway up his chest. Because he's an old man, and I'm pretty sure that they have to do that by law. Roshi goes into the kitchen to find that Goku ate all of his food, even the last stick of butter. Can you imagine? Can you imagine just chomping a bite out of butter? That's absolutely disgusting.
I saw the box. I saw the box. I was like, there's no freaking way he ate butter. And then Master was like, "You even ate the last stick of butter." But before Master Roshi says that, he says a line that's even funnier to me. He's like, "I've been ransacked."
Yeah, that's right. I've been ransacked. Oh my god, he's so good.
He actually got robbed.
Goku tells Master Roshi that he's there for his training, and Roshi wonders what happened to Bulma. He is not pleased to find out that she went home.
I always love how he gestures Bulma. He's like always using his hands too. So did she come too?
Where's your friend? And yeah, he's like grabbing the air in front of him. Goku claims that they're probably having fun in the city by now, and we get to cut to the rest of the gang wandering through a desert just being miserable. Yamcha has Puar change into a compass, and she does, and she works as a compass. Puar's transformations are just time and time again being shown to be better than Oolong's. Even funnier, they've been going south this whole time when they try to be going north.
Probably the saddest I've ever heard Oolong was like, Yamcha, please don't be joking with us.
Yeah. They're like, oh, I'm gonna turn into a pork rind once this is all done. While tending to Bulma, they spot what they think is a sandstorm, but it's actually just Phoup running at incredible speeds across the desert.
Oh my god. The first thing I noticed was his hand motion as he ran.
He was like, they're perfectly out to his sides at like 90-degree angles as he's like shuffling them front and back as he's running.
Okay, I wasn't ready to see myself freaking running through the desert like that. I thought it was going to be someone else in a dino pod. Or a dino cat, my bad. I don't know why I keep saying pod.
What blew me away was as Krillin's running through the desert and he's kicking up all this dust behind him, there's a jet takeoff sound. Like he's going like as he's running.
I didn't realize it was a jet, to be honest. Like I didn't think too deep. I thought he was literally just going that fast.
Oh, he's got incredible speeds. He's going so fast. Back at Master Roshi's Jack Shack, he cracks open a cold brewski at 10 a.m. into a wine glass, and he starts knocking it back while they talk about how to proceed with Goku's training. He is living the life.
You still got your beard and mustache and all that?
Oh, I'm trimmed up a little bit, but
Okay.
I gotta start working pretty hard.
I always wonder what it's like to be drinking alcohol through like a thick like lumberjack beard, you know.
Oh, you know, if you got a big mustache, they call it the soup trap for a reason.
Oh.
save a little bit for later.
I see. I always wonder what that felt like, but
So it gets a little uncomfortable sometimes, but
see, maybe I don't know. It's not in my genes to ever have that opportunity. I look. If you're looking at Krillin, you're already looking at me. There's not a single slight of hair on my face.
Like I said, you know, every year I get older, and you still say a baby. Master Roshi says that his lessons don't come free, and Goku has to find him a young gal. And you were wondering how Master Roshi gets girls onto his island, and here you go. He has his students wrangle them up for him.
I didn't want to believe this.
Why not?
I thought this was just a situational case with Goku because he didn't feel like teaching him, even though he promised.
Oh no!
He was like, "Oh yeah, I'll teach it." Just like procrastinate.
But as you learn in the next set of episodes or so, he has Krillin help out.
Yeah, that's when I had to accept it.
Roshi gives Goku some guidelines on how to pick up the right kind of chick because he's a stallion of discerning tastes. Such guidelines include having nice skin, not being too young, but not being too old either, and she has to be funny too.
I forgot because when he said that, I was like, "Damn, Master Roshi must have the biggest cock." Oh man!
Oh, he's the best.
I love how like before he sends off Goku, Master Roshi's like, "Oh yeah, you should hurry up, but are you sure you know what you're looking for?"
he didn't believe that Goku actually had it in him. Goku flies off in search of, as he calls it, a new friend for Master Roshi, and that innocent soul taking some poor girl to be trapped on a tiny island in the middle of nowhere with Master Roshi. He doesn't know any better. Roshi does get a good line out before the commercial break where he goes, "That boy is strange." And as if to contrast that immediately, Roshi starts getting ready for his date. He gets dressed in a wine red suit, is dancing to the beat of, some funky boombox hip hop, whatever. And he's trying to pick out a turtle shell that just screams stud muffin. He goes with a pink shell, and he is right.
Oof. I didn't expect him to have different color shells.
Is different
To be honest,
colors.
I thought he just had the same. I thought he just used the same shell for the rest of the entire series.
I absolutely love the things that they do with Master Roshi's shell. Also, just talking about Master Roshi's shell, that's just a thing that every old master has. Goku returns with a girl, and Master Roshi is shocked to find that he has brought back some giant Ox King-sized weightlifter girl with pigtails. She opens her mouth and sounds almost like Patrick Star from SpongeBob and says, "I'm ready to play."
Even I wasn't ready for that. It made me laugh, so it's like, all right, I guess I'll quote her. "I'm ready to play," quotation mark, girl.
Girl. The weirdest thing, she doesn't stick around. I thought she was going to be a regular character.
I'm pretty
Darn
sure
shame.
Pretty sure Master Roshi wanted her off his property ASAP.
Obviously, this is not what Roshi was looking for, so he pulls out 2 pictures and asks Goku to tell him which one is prettier. One looks kind of like a model or something, while the other one is like this wide person with glasses. Goku looks at them both and says, "I like them both." And man, Goku just continues to be a good kid, and the series is better for it.
Yeah, I'm really happy about Goku being such a nice kid, just like my little brother. Even Master Roshi's like, "What are you,
A saint?" Roshi demands that he gets the one that looks like a model, and Goku just can't seem to figure out the difference. He's like, "They look the same to me, but okay." As he flies off, Roshi says, "There's no telling who he'll bring back this time. I better hide."
Doesn't even hide in the house. He hides on the side of the house.
He runs around the corner. When Goku returns, Roshi pokes his head around the corner and he says, "Please don't be chunky."
What a bastard!
No, he's a stallion of discerning tastes. Much to Roshi's surprise, Goku actually manages to get a girl that is his type.
When Goku when it panned over to the girl, I was like, "Damn, Goku got it."
She's got long purple hair. She's wearing a shirt that says "Pie Pie" on it.
And her voice was very seductive in a way. I don't know how to explain seductive talk.
Yeah.
Mature, I guess you could say.
Yeah, she sounds like a sensual woman.
Who can I compare her to? Jessica Rabbit? Is that a good comparison in a way?
Yeah.
How does she talk?
She has the line, "I'm not bad, I'm just drawn that way."
But... Yeah, okay, I just searched it up, you're right.
Yeah, the shirt that says "Pie Pie" on it,
Mm-hmm.
I want a shirt that says "Pie Pie" on it. There's a lot of dumb fashion in Dragon Ball that I would just like to wear. I don't think that it's shown up in Dragon Ball, but in my mind, this totally exists in the Dragon Ball world. A shirt that says, in big block text, "shirt." You know how Bulma has all those shirts that say Bulma or hat or whatever? Just a hat that says hat.
Yeah,
a shirt that says shirt.
they're great, but I think I'd rather go with the one that says Bulma on them.
Yeah, I think having that would be pretty great. Goku has to play messenger between Roshi and this new girl, and Goku says that she'll go swimming with him, and he is just going nuts about that prospect, because swimming is a second or third date activity, and she must be crazy about him. He says it's time for him to bust out the old moves, and he does the whole, "Are your legs tired? Because you've been running through my dreams." But it backfires because Goku managed to bring back a mermaid.
I was like caught off guard. Because, of course, like, they keep getting me. These bastards over here keep getting me with these scenes. Because I was like, I like gasp. I was like, you don't say that. That's like saying something like, oh, you wanna. That's like saying you want to take a stroll to a girl like in a wheelchair.
I was gonna say like doing the same exact line to a girl in a wheelchair.
But it makes sense now that she said she'd rather swim.
Mm-hmm.
I would take her up on that offer.
Yeah.
I would. Oh,
and so does Roshi. Mermaids exist in Dragon Ball world, and I know that I shouldn't be surprised because we've seen animal people and dinosaurs and mystical dragons, but for whatever reason, I just was like, mermaid. All right. I think the difference is because we will continue to see animal people and dinosaurs and dragons and stuff like that. I don't think that there's another mermaid in the entire franchise.
Oh. Is there ever any underwater battles?
Yeah,
or did they just dry out the ocean because of all of their excessive power?
the heat coming off of their laser beams.
Yeah, no, I would definitely take up on that offer.
Yeah,
but of course, Master Roshi being the stallion himself.
Oh, he's got this great line. He says, "Well, I'm like a turtle and you're part fish, so why don't we go inside and learn more about each other's species?" And he immediately gets decked in the face, which is crazy, okay? Did you hear that line? That line pulls, okay?
I always love how Master Roshi delivers these lines, too, because he always says it in, like, kind of like pauses in a way.
Yeah, he hesitates. He doesn't have the confidence in everything that he says.
Oh, I feel like it just makes it so much better for me.
He's great. He's always the best character, and it's really subtle. But after she leaves, after punching him, and he's got these broken glasses, he swaps them out for an identical pair. Like, he turns around and he pulls them off and he pulls another pair on, like, in a flash. And, like, this must happen so much. He just has spares around. He sends Goku back out to find another girl, and we learn that Turtle is just, like, on a vacation, and he's running out of time. He's like, oh, Turtle's on vacation, and I need to get a chick fast. Poor Master Roshi.
But you know what I thought? That damn turtle's probably lost again.
You're right. He doesn't come back for, like, the set of episodes.
That's the first thing I called out when he said that. I was like, didn't you learn the turtle got lost last time?
You can't send him out places. Phoup arrives by boat. And he leaps into the sky before tumbling headfirst into the sand, making a great first impression. Absolutely love it. He reveals himself as Krillin and comes to be trained by Roshi. But Roshi claims that he doesn't take every boy that shows up at his door. And Krillin's eye, it gleams, and you know shenanigans are about to happen. And shenanigans happen immediately, because Krillin busts out some light reading, as he calls it, and hands Master Roshi a dirty magazine. Roshi takes it immediately because he's a dirty old man. Like, I love whenever Master Roshi gets something like this, he'll take it away like a dog getting a treat. Like, he'll take it away, kind of turn around from the camera and squat.
Oh, man. Krillin came prepared. I don't know how he knew about these rumors.
Goku makes fun of Krillin's bald head, and he gets all defensive about it, claiming that all the best martial artists shave their head. Just look at Master Roshi. And he stops perving out for all of 2 seconds to go, nope, I'm actually bald. It's all natural, baby. And, like, hell yeah, Master Roshi. He owns that shit.
Man, I would not be surprised if I'm bald in the next 20 years here. My hairline is already like Vegeta. Like,
we had mentioned that, yeah. Kazuya.
So, if I'm bald by nature, I guess I'll just look up to Master Roshi.
Yep. Just own it and just get your own little love shack on a private island. Roshi agrees to take Krillin on so long as he helps Goku find a girl for him, and they prepare to leave on the Nimbus, but Krillin can't ride it because he's not pure of heart. This impure bastard child is too naughty to ride the Nimbus. Roshi claims it's because he's hiding something from them, and Krillin reveals that he's been hoarding magazines he's not supposed to read and hands them all over to Roshi.
Yeah, as Krillin was handing all of them, there was a whole bag full, right? And you know, all the ones he was handing to were all the same ones. It was a pink cover with a very sensual girl, and he's passing them really fast, maybe like one every like half a second.
Yeah, he's like, oh yeah, give me that one. Oh yeah.
Oh, in the middle, there was one slight down.
So I paused on this one.
Krillin hands Master Roshi one of a man,
a real buff-looking dude,
in like a Speedo, blue cover, and Master Roshi's eyes, it's like
he is
disgusting.
Yeah, he is sickened by its contents. But I don't know if you noticed, the title of the magazine is called Ho Mo. That is some good old-fashioned family-friendly homophobia that you could get away with in the 80s and the early 2000s, but that would not fly today.
I did not catch that at all.
Like, I paused on it.
That makes it so much better. I dare say it will fly in today's day.
I was just like, oh, man. Jesus Christ, this is fantastic.
And then Krillin like starts handing back the female magazines and such. Yeah,
he wins him over again.
It just happened so fast, but it was so good though.
This episode's fantastic. I'm sure all of this is super normal stuff for one of those monks to have, you know, the same kind of monk that has the sports car and like the new Jordans. He's also got this big pile of light reading.
Oh man, I got like one story from one of my cousins that was serving his time as a monk for a little bit, right? Mm-hmm. It was this one girl like testing him while he was a monk. He's like, hey, you want to go out? And he's like, hold up, girl. Let me finish my time as a monk, and I'll come back and hollow at you. and there's some that can't wait, and then there's some that just, you know.
I'm just imagining, you know, you're at the temple, you've got the robes, you've got the shaved head, and you're sitting there, and it's very nice and peaceful, and you've been doing this for a while. You're really feeling like this has all been worth it. And then one girl comes in, and as they're leaving, like, your cousin just goes, well, I'm done, and he takes off the robes and he chases after her. Sorry, guys, I'm out.
Oh, man. Oh, it's pretty funny. It's pretty funny because it's like a test of morals in a way, you know. Mm-hmm. It's just very ironic. Mm-hmm. Because, you know, we're talking about But of course, there are some monks who go through all the way with it. It's like all the way towards the path of Buddha, and then there's my cousin, and then there's some of the kids too, like teenagers. But that's more of a cultural and like kind of like a society thing too, because sometimes they can't afford school, so they have to go to the temple for education. That's why.
That's the price that you pay. No cranking it. No, sir. The narrator leads us out of this episode wondering if Goku and Krillin will be friends, and if they'll succeed in finding Roshi that date. And all in all, I think this is a great filler episode, because anytime with Roshi on screen, we are getting 10 out of 10 content.
Oh, man. Honestly, if I don't even mind, the majority of the time, do you like filler episodes?
Oh, yeah, of course. I love filler. It's more,
really?
It's more stuff in the world that I love. Like,
okay. Because there's like two types of people. There's you basically explaining it. There's more content, you know.
Mm-hmm.
There's more stuff to enjoy, and then there are those who think it's just kind of like wasteful space or time and stuff. I'm kind of in the middle because I do like it when I appreciate it when they make more content because it's for entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
But I also like it when they put in like values. Like I learned a lot from Master Roshi from this episode.
Do you also have discerning tastes now?
I must stay on the path of Buddha.
My opinions on it are, if you're getting something like this where it's entertainment, like you said, then it's great. If it's, listen, we blew the budget, so we got to have Goku standing here with his arms up, charging an attack for a couple episodes, then I'm like, I could go without this. But
okay.
So there's two sides to the coin, and
yeah,
it's at the point where there's the original dub, or the original run of Dragon Ball Z, which is a ton of episodes. And then there's Dragon Ball Z Kai, where they went in, redubbed it, and trimmed the fat, got rid of a lot of the filler, and it's a lot more punchy, and it's a lot more cut down, succinct, a fraction of the episodes.
Okay.
And I don't necessarily want to watch Kai again, just because I like a lot of the filler, and you remove a lot of the fun stuff and a lot of the little moments, and it's more entertainment. Like there's an episode where young Gohan is in the wilderness by himself, and he's fending for himself, and he has to learn how to, he's trying to be kind, but he also has to survive, and he fights a dinosaur, and there's all this good stuff, and all that gets cut out of like the trimmed down version, and so it's just like, oh yeah, Gohan fended for himself for a while, and yada yada yada, whatever. He's strong now. It's like, oh, I wanted to see that.
I see. It's like Dragon Ball Z, the director's cut edition, I guess.
Yeah, but like, I like seeing all the entertaining filler episodes like this, or Goku getting his driver's license is the one that everyone goes to. But I also don't like it when, yes, it takes 2 episodes to charge up an attack. So if there's a way to watch trimmed down Dragon Ball Z, but keep all the filler, then I would totally be on board for that. But I know that doesn't exist right now, and we are watching Dragon Ball, not Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah. To be honest, it didn't even feel like a filler. That for episode 14. I thought this episode was pretty necessary. If anything, I don't know. I don't know how to explain. To be honest, I don't even know how.
So they're pretty.
Is this like defined? Is this episode defined as a filler?
Not necessarily, but like in the grand scheme of things, what happens in this episode that's important to the story? Krillin meets Master Roshi and Goku, which happens at the very, very end of the episode. Like, he shows up, he says, I want to be trained by you. Here's some dirty magazines. Episode ends. Everything else before that didn't really need to happen, but I'm glad it did.
Krillin, why are these pages stuck together? I mean, I enjoyed it either way.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter to me if it's a filler or not. Like I said, I watched Gintama. I haven't finished like the new season for that anime. It's hard for me to start an anime.
Mm-hmm.
But once I get going, I really get going.
Yeah, like I said, I don't necessarily know if we are going to continue after Dragon Ball, but it flows very nicely into Dragon Ball Z, and I wouldn't be opposed to keep going, but
I'd be cool with it too.
It's a big ask, and we will see.
You just gotta force me to somehow watch like the first set of episodes, because that popular series Squid Game, right? The Korean series. Mm-hmm. I usually don't watch TV shows or shows in general, guys. But I went over to my friend's house and they put it on. Put on the first episode. There's 12 episodes. Each episode is like an hour long.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, I finished it in one sitting.
Yeah. We have a problem because I do the same thing.
Oh, it's terrible. It's terrible.
Let's get back into it with episode 15, which is Look Out for Launch. And I love how this one starts because it shows Goku and Krillin getting around the Nimbus's morality rule by having Krillin cling to Goku's back the entire trip. Goku says if he stops thinking bad thoughts, maybe the Nimbus will let him ride. And Krillin's response is, fat chance. And Krillin just wants to be a little bastard man. He's like, he's an asshole. He knows it. He wants it. Goku points to a man and says, if Master Roshi would like them as a date. And my guy still doesn't know how to tell the difference without checking for himself.
And this is when Krillin's like they're talking about while they're on this topic, Goku is like, oh yeah, the only way I can really tell if I like start touching them. and as they start flying, in search of Master Roshi's like next potential date, Krillin is like, in case you haven't noticed, I'm a boy. After he heard Goku is like, oh yeah, I usually just
I check.
touch them. Had a flashback to when like Goku was touching Oolong.
Yep.
Like checking if he's a male. I'm pretty sure that's what Krillin did. Was the last thing he wanted.
Mm-hmm. We suddenly cut to a Wild West saloon, and it's full of cowboys, and this is a great location for the Dragon Ball world. I love seeing all these little cultural pockets.
Mm-hmm.
Inside the saloon, there's a couple of wanted posters on the wall, and one of them says Akira on it, and it's a little dude in a gas mask, and this is Akira Toriyama's little caricature that he draws for himself, and I really like it.
Hold on, let me see. Akira.
Tack, 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 tack.
Oh, do you hear my keyboard?
Yep.
Bad. It's closer to the keyboard than usual. Oh, okay. So this is what the gas mask looks like. Okay.
He's like a little robot gas mask dude, and that's his little caricature that he likes to draw.
That's really cool. When you first said that, I didn't see all of the wanted posters because it was scrolling just a bit. I was looking at the money instead of the picture.
It was the first guy, and he was like kind of off screen right away.
Okay.
And I was like, there he is.
There was no way I probably would see it because I was more focused on the money, the rewards for some reason. When you said gas mask, I was thinking of the anime Steampunk. Yeah, that's like anytime I hear about not Steampunk, Desert Punk, my bad.
Ooh, Desert Punk's good.
Very, very old anime. So every time I hear gas mask for some reason, it brings me back to this anime. And I guess I can kind of see. But anyways.
The last wanted poster, worth $2 million, is of a blonde woman, the titular Launch. And I like Launch. Like, just going into it, I'm like, oh yeah, this is the Launch episode.
Launch is a cool character. I didn't know what type of character Launch was going to be.
Well, the title is called Look Out for Launch, so...
Yeah.
A dude pulls a revolver, and he's like this tough cowboy dude, and he's wondering if Launch will really show. And this tiny prospector man goes, "You just leave them plans to me, tall man. I know she's a-coming." And I love this little prospector gremlin man. And all the guys in this the saloon, they just look like dopes. They look like the dumpiest looking cowboys. The door slams open, and inside steps a woman that looks kind of like Launch, but she's got blue hair instead of blonde. And she's got this really sweet voice and complains about everything just being dusty. This is plot important. You should remember this.
Yeah.
Tall, dark, and handsome offers to get the girl any drink that she wants, and she orders a glass of orange juice over ice. And that's not a drink. No, 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 Dragon Ball. I know when you're trying to hide a mixed drink from me. A dusty breeze rolls in and makes one of her hairs tickle her nose, prompting the blue-haired girl to sneeze and transformed into a blonde-haired girl, the Launch that we saw on the poster. And she just immediately starts kicking all these dudes' asses. She's throwing them over tables. Blasting. Yeah! She throws them over tables into walls. She's doing it with some fresh Nikes. The red, they got the white swoosh and everything. Yeah,
I love that.
They throw some fashion in.
The fashion they have for the girls in the show, I love. I was even searching up to see if I could find like a Red Bulma snapback cap. I don't know. I'm just a really big fan of the outfit for some reason. Maybe it's just red.
That's good. It's a good outfit.
Yeah, no. Every time. So she just starts blasting them.
Yeah,
and
she pulls out an Uzi.
There's like your gremlin prospector is like jammed into like the wall. Yeah, there's like I think there was like a scene where some of them were just kind of like on top of a flipped over table, kind of like the typical saloon that just got wrecked up and bar fight just happened, such.
And like one thing that I made a note of while all this is going on, Blonde Launch has a Brooklyn accent.
Yeah.
So you got this very sweet blue-haired Launch, and then like this rough and tumble Brooklyn broad who's ready to kill.
Yeah, really bipolar here, and I really like both sides, to be honest.
She's great. Like, it's one of the best character introductions that we have for any character in this show right out of the gate.
Mm-hmm. I really like her outfit. I really like how Blonde Launch is just really cool and really kick-ass. She's like the badass lady from Yakuza 0.
Yeah,
just
Miss
about
Tatsu,
the guts.
Miss Tatsu.
Yeah. I'll tell you right now, I don't know what to think about blue-haired Launch just yet.
I think I like blue-haired Launch just a little more because in this world, and you'll see it as we go, nice people are, like genuinely nice people are a little harder to come across.
Mm-hmm.
And like she's not dumb. She's just really polite.
No, she is. And that's why I don't know. I really like Blue Launch. I just don't know which one I like more yet.
I think in the grand scheme of things, like Blonde Launch is kind of abrasive at first to me, and Blue Launch is like, oh, great. I really like nice characters. Goku's a nice character.
Mm-hmm.
Krillin's an asshole. So
Yeah.
this is kind of like a nice balance between, Blue Launch is more like Goku, Blonde Launch is more like Krillin.
I think I might agree with you in this. But then again, we could just say that Launch as a character as a whole,
yes,
for both sides is a great character.
And the other
Blue
thing,
Launch also proves it as well. We'll get to that later, though.
Mm-hmm. And as the series goes on, Blonde Launch softens up a little bit in a way that really works, and I can't wait to see how you feel about it.
Okay.
So we'll get to it later on down the road. We switch back over to Goku and Krillin, and we are back to pee jokes because Krillin is just being a jerk and peeing on a frog.
Oh my God, it was just showing a scene of something sprinkling on a frog, and I'm like, oh no, don't tell me. Oh no.
And the camera pans back.
It's Krillin pissing on a frog, and I immediately wrote, that poor frog.
I wrote, that little bastard man. Goku rolls up behind him and goes, you're right, you are a boy. Goku's always got a check. And I like every time that they do like these, we're introducing a character and we're checking back in with Goku or whatever, because it goes back and forth. So that scene of showing Krillin peeing on that frog was the only thing that we're checking in on them for. Because we're back with Launch, and she's on this cool motorized scooter unicycle thing on top of a cliff overlooking some train tracks. And I always love when Akira Toriyama gets to flex his mechanical designs, because this thing is cool as fuck, and I would totally want one. Like, I love this scooter.
Oh, man. I think I would rather give that a go than those hoverboards.
Yeah.
I think I already talked about how I busted my ass on one of those, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, man.
She jumps it down the cliff and gets in front of an oncoming train with a bazooka and blasts the train, causing it to derail really awkwardly and abruptly. Like, she blasts it, and then it's like, and it like falls over like a Family Guy character. She jumps in and steals money from the train, and we see this cowboy in an old-timey phone calling the sheriff with a hooey kind of voice, and these cowboy guys are just fantastic.
What does that guy say? The conductor? He was like,
There's been a train robbery.
But doesn't he say something? Doesn't he confirms like, yes, She she derailed the train, sir.
She derailed the train. I know it was a launch. She rides off while Goku comes up onto the scene, and he asks Krillin why they need a girl for Roshi. And Krillin thinks it's because Master Roshi likes going on dates as much as Goku likes eating food. And shocked, Goku gasps and says, "You mean he's going to eat her?" God, I love Goku. The police show up in these little hover cars, and they start chasing Launch and blasting at her, but she straight up murders some cops with a grenade. So I'm just going to go on record and say Launch is based. She pulls out a shotgun, and she's just ready to ice these other cops, but a hair tickles her nose, and she starts to sneeze. And what I really found interesting was the blonde persona seems to be aware that they'll change when they sneeze. But the blue-haired persona seems to have, like, amnesia of everything that happens.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, she sneezes, crashes, and calls out for help, which Krillin wants to ignore. But, of course, Goku wants to help, because Krillin is a bastard, and Goku is nice. The police tell Launch that she's going to be arrested for just about every possible crime punishable in these parts. But she doesn't remember any of it. And here's my question that I pose to you. Is Launch guilty of her actions with her blonde self? I don't think that she should be held accountable for things that she has no control over.
Let's see. If we really want to get deep into this conversation, I remember reading on something a while back where there was a court case. I don't remember what the case was, but the defendant said that they didn't know they did it because the defendant was sleepwalking. So does that mean it was like, it was, what's the word?
Not consciously committing a crime?
Yeah. Yeah. But at the same time, I think with Launch, I'm pretty sure if half of you was aware, I think it would be guilty.
Yeah, but
because what I'm bringing up, there is no half.
I don't know. I personally believe that Blue Launch is an innocent in all of this.
Because blue and yellow, they know of each other's existence.
Yes, they do.
But if this is like a personality disorder, or this is how they're portraying personality disorder or dual personality, I don't remember the term. But if you know your other personality will do this, do you rat on that personality? Wouldn't that just be as guilty of not doing it? Or would you? But
that's the thing.
Are you guilty regardless because that other personality is still technically you in a body?
Well, I don't think that Blue Launch necessarily knows the things that Blonde Launch is doing, because later on...
Oh, no, you're right.
Later on, she's like, I think I might have robbed a few banks or something.
Yeah. Actually, you're right. I forgot about that.
So no, she's...
Never mind. Just forget everything I said. They're just aware of each other's existence, but just unaware of each other's doing.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe this is too hard of a question. I think what I would say is bring her to the Kami house.
Bring her to the Kami house.
Bring her to the Kami house.
You and Goku got the same line of thinking. Goku finds the scene, and Krillin's like, "No, don't fight them. They've got guns, bro."
Or I could be having Master Roshi thinking here.
But no. I say, Goku's been shot so many times by this point, he eats bullets for breakfast.
I think we'll get to it soon, but I think Launch has done the most damage so far.
I think Launch has done the most damage to Goku so far. Krillin hides behind a rock and tries to absolve himself from being involved. He's a total bootlicker. What a chump. Yeah. He's like, I totally respect you guys. The cops pull guns on literal children. He is willing to kill them so he can get to Launch. And I did not know that Dragon Ball was nonfiction. Ooh, we're getting political.
I mean, there are cases, which means you're not wrong, unfortunately. But But this is Goku we're talking about.
This is Goku we're talking about, so he's fine.
This is Goku we're talking about, so he's a whole different case.
Goku slaps one of the cop's guns away and drops him with a single kick, and the other cop pulls his gun on Goku and calls him a scoundrel before Goku lands a spinning headbutt dive into him, and the cop just empties the clip wildly before falling down. There is zero trigger safety in the Dragon Ball world. He's just like, pow, 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 pow. Launch is blue at this point and claims to hate guns, and Krillin tries to take credit because he kind of sucks. But at least I know he gets better.
I was actually hoping to see Launch shoot the shotgun. Launch shoot the shotgun.
Oh, I wanted to see it.
She was really getting it set up and was like, she's like, oh, I'm about to show them how it's really done.
Mm-hmm. They can't shoot me, but I can hit them in one hit. It's going to be easy.
I've never shot like a real gun before, but I always thought shotguns were always like the most fun to use in video games.
Oh, of course. You just turn them into a red mist.
Yeah, she like, what is it? Yeah. Cocks the shotgun. It's like, I'm ready.
Mm-hmm. If only she didn't sneeze, we could have just gotten so much more carnage out of her.
And I like the Looney Tunes Cars expression where when the gun gets pointed to them, it like starts sweating. It starts sweating and like it's in shock.
Yeah, it scrunches up a little bit.
Yeah.
It's like, oh god. At this point, they realize that Launch would be perfect for Master Roshi and decide to take her back. And just to prove my point that Launch did nothing wrong, she can ride the Nimbus.
Yeah, exactly. That's Blue Launch, and I was like, damn, that's really cool. That really shows the side, you know?
Yeah, I have written, she can ride the Nimbus, and the Nimbus is the perfect litmus test for character morality. And in that last note, I misspelled Nimbus as Numbus, and that is a funny word. Yeah, Numbus. Poor Launch doesn't know what she's getting into, but I'd say this is a double-edged sword, because Roshi also doesn't know what Launch is capable of.
Did you know that? Did you notice that on the ride back that Krillin is hanging on the Goku? But
yes.
During a sudden frame change as they were about to arrive, Krillin changes to Launch. Like
he's hanging
Krillin
on
is hanging on to the back of Launch, and I'm like, damn that.
What a bastard!
What a bastard! He says.
Master Roshi doesn't answer the door, and Krillin thinks he might be using the bathroom. Goku thinks that means he's taking a bath, but Krillin corrects him, saying that it can also mean using the toilet. Immediately, Goku blurts out, "You mean he's taking a poo?" God, Goku's great.
Yeah, I was. It makes me think back to what kind of kid I was as well. I was kind of like that.
No filter.
No filter. At least with my own immediate family, I was a pretty shy kid.
Mm-hmm.
But man, after he was like, "Oh, Master Roshi's taking a poo, I'll go get him," he runs into the house, runs straight to the bathroom, and starts yelling for Master Roshi. And Master Roshi is like, "Can't you give a man some time to poop," or something like that? And it just really hit home because I used to treat my dad like that too.
Dad, I'm pooping. What do you want? Every time you knock, it adds 2 minutes.
Oh, man.
While he's inside checking to see if Roshi didn't shit himself to death, Krillin explains to Launch that Roshi is a lonely old man who thinks he's a stud and that they just need someone to stroke his ego. Launch is happy to be there to hide from the police, but Krillin thought that they were only pretending to be cops. And I really love this delivery that Launch gives. She's got this big old smile and says, "Those were real policemen."
Krillin's about to shit himself.
Yeah, there's this long pause, and he's just like staring at her, and she's staring at him, and there's like a shot of a blue coconut crab on a tree. Like he was listening, and he's just like, "Oh."
Like, you just mess with the fence.
Goku beat them all up. Roshi finally gets off the toilet, and Goku calls him Stinky.
Yeah, it's okay.
I too called him Stinky.
She called him Stinky.
Yep.
Fair enough. Huge and stinky.
Krillin wants to know why the police would be after Launch, and she says that she can't be certain, but she opens up her bag to reveal a shitload of money and says, I probably held up a bank or two.
Oh man, they were like stacks.
Mm-hmm.
These were stacks, and they were like hundreds of, I don't know.
It's a full duffel bag.
Mm-hmm. We talking payday full.
Mm-hmm. Roshi gets a glimpse of Launch and starts to oogle her from afar, while she explains to Krillin what happens when she sneezes. And I love the fact that Master Roshi is providing his own sound effects for this scene. Every time the camera zooms in on her features, you hear him go, a bam! A ba-boom! And he's just giggling like a maniac. He's like, oh yeah! Oh!
He like looks at the face, he looks at the chest, he looks at the rump. He starts looking even lower than the rump, like towards like the legs and stuff. Mm-hmm. Master Roshi can't contain himself. He's excited.
Oh, he's an animal.
A stallion.
He's a stallion, like you said. Launch calls the kids Roshi's grandchildren, but he plays it off real smooth by calling them his younger brothers.
Oh man, they none of them were ready.
Nobody bought it.
Launch. Yeah, no one bought it.
Roshi offers his patented walk around the island routine, which she agrees to. Hesitantly, but she agrees to it. And yeah, this is where I noted that Launch isn't dumb. She's just really nice, and I like Launch.
I really did too. But she's about to mention something that I've been wanting to say myself too. As Master Roshi was asking Launch for the stroll, and she was hesitating a little bit, as you mentioned, she was looking around. She's like, "Okay, yeah, I'll be down for a stroll, but it's not going to be that much of a stroll."
Yeah, it's like, I mean, it's a small island. It's a short walk. I guess that won't be so bad. No, I really do like Launch. She's great.
Actually, I actually did watch the I forgot if it was the opening or the ending, but after the first arc, I actually listened and watched the arc closing with the ending song, right?
Yeah.
And I saw a scene with the Kame house, because in the ending, most of it is just Bulma in different outfits and stuff like that. I was like, damn, that's pretty cool. But one of them was a different girl, and that's until Launch was introduced. I was like, oh, that was Launch.
Yeah.
It was Blue Launch with an Uzi. I was like, so I'm assuming that she's gonna be in the series for a while. If she
shows up, up. At this point, I don't want to call her replacing Bulma for a little bit, but she's a recurring background character for sure.
Okay, that's cool.
Krillin works with Master Roshi to build up his cred, and they have Launch join in on one of their training lessons. And it's all just a ploy to get Launch in official Turtle Hermit uniforms. And the uniforms are lacy lingerie. Roshi and the boys are also wearing it, and Roshi should definitely be on some kind of list.
Roshi outdone me. He's always one step ahead of me. My God. I thought it was just going to be swimming trunks and a bikini for Launch. Nope. Yeah, this whole thing planned out.
Not only is it sexy lingerie, which she calls underwear, but she walks out and it's like, oh, I see. So he's got Launch wearing the lingerie while they get something else. And nope, they're all wearing it. He's like, I need you guys to wear this so my plan works. Please.
One of them said something like, do we have to? I think it was like Krillin or Goku. I think it was Goku. Goku was the one. He's like, I don't want to wear this, Master Roshi. And I thought this is when he gets like, I don't know, some kind of like outfit like Krillin, kind of like the Shaolin monk kind of deal, you know? No.
Not yet. No,
it was the lingerie. Was not disappointed though. Laughed my ass off.
A fly comes in and brushes under Launch's nose, prompting her to sneeze and transform into blonde Launch once more, and she is pissed that she's dressed like this. And she's like, oh, you're gonna dress me up like a doll, huh? Well, don't forget the included accessories. And she just empties a machine gun into all three of them, meaning that Krillin and Roshi are also bulletproof because they survive.
Oh my word! And this is like the first time I noticed that there's like black holes left on them. I was
This
like,
is-
are those holes or are those like the mark of a rubber bullet?
That is the first time that there has been any lasting bullet mark on Goku. Yes, they're just full of black holes. It's played for comedy, but she
Oh,
totally
no.
could have murdered all three of them. She sneezes again, and Nice launches back and she apologizes. And the narrator closes us out once more by saying that the boys will probably learn some manners with Launch Around. And I think that she's playing this pretty well. She just has to hang around Master Roshi, and she gets hidden from the police, and if he tries anything, the blonde half will just blast him. I think these two episodes were my favorite ones throughout the series, or throughout this little set.
It was definitely the one that hurt my gut the most. Well, Shu did a really good job making me laugh pretty hard, but like I laughed pretty hard with these two episodes as well.
She was always a good. We had so many good characters in this set. Like you get Shu, you get Master Roshi, you get Launch. Like they're all great. But that does lead us into our final episode, which is Find That Stone, episode 16. And it starts with Roshi packing up his whole ass house into a capsule so he can bring it with him when they go to another island to do their training.
I freaked out. I was like, no way. I always thought they stayed on that island forever.
Nope. The narrator explains that Master Roshi has agreed to train Goku and Krillin, but they need to go to a bigger island, and in order to travel there, Roshi throws another capsule. It makes one of those boats with a big fan in the back appear, and we get Roshi's rule number 1. Always travel in style.
I have that written down, too.
They get to the new place, and Goku flies around the island on his Nimbus, and we get to see all those cute little dome houses that Akira Toriyama likes to draw.
Mm-hmm.
Goku returns, and they're going to have a real lesson now, and he is so jazzed at this. He's flailing his arms up and down, going, yeah, 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 yeah. He's like a dog.
Mm-hmm.
Launch wants to know if she can join in on the lesson, but it looks like she's about to sneeze, causing the boys to run for cover. But it's just a yawn.
They ran like a few, like I would say a few yards to a rock that was in the middle of the feud.
Yeah, they're like hiding behind it, like, oh god. She says that fighting makes her sleepy, so she leaves to make food for the boys. And they begin, and we get the information that Krillin has studied for 8 years at the Magic Orin Temple. So Krillin is at the very least 8 years old. When would you subject a child to Kung Fu?
I don't know about Kung Fu, but in Thailand, I can say about Muay Thai. It's at a very young age as kids. It's very controversial, though, because like some believe these kids should go out and play, but in some sense, this is kind of them playing. Doing kickboxing on each other.
I don't remember if I was joking or not, but I said 2. 2 sounds good to me. I could kung fu a 2-year-old so hard. Just some toddler comes up and like a little like kung fu gi and just like side hip kick their face.
How I remember in elementary school that there was some kids that had like karate lessons, and I don't know how it was, like maybe kindergarten, maybe first grade. That's like when we were 5. So I really don't know.
They got started pretty young, but we don't know how old Krillin is at this point. Master Roshi is impressed by, his new students' already latent ability. And he says that he can skip the explanation of what a punch and a kick is. Which is probably sarcasm. But knowing his training regime at this point, I would not put it past him to, like, actually be that thorough.
What a punch and kick? Yeah. Honestly, I'm glad that they skipped that part.
Roshi sets up a test to see how the boys can run, and Krillin is super full of himself. He claims that he could probably make the Olympics, if he wanted to. No big deal. This guy's just a bastard.
It's like that one kid that's always gloating.
Yeah. You just wanted to see him put in his place.
Yeah.
The test is to run 100 meters, and because I'm dumb, I had to break that down into feet. So it's about 328 feet, and Krillin is able to run that in 10.4 seconds. And by running that through a calculator, that means that Krillin was sprinting at a little over 21 miles per hour. For reference, Usain Bolt at the Olympics ran that same distance in 9.8 seconds. So, this is humanly possible, but that all being said, Krillin is also a small bastard child, so he has small stumpy legs. And after I did all that math, I was like, why don't I care about actual math? Why is Dragon Ball math the only math I care about?
I was gonna say that was impressive that you even cared enough to do that.
Well, you see, the reasoning was I knew what was coming, and I wanted to see exactly how fast people were going to be going. So
that makes sense.
Krillin's a little shit about his time, claiming that the wind was against him, even though Roshi seemed genuinely impressed. It's Goku's turn, but doing his run, something seems amiss, and he makes it at 11 seconds even, which is still really good. Goku asks to do it again, and he blames his shoes, which Krillin scoffs at, because he's a jerk.
Yeah.
Like you had said, he's kind of like a snobby prep kid.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah, he blames his shoes, and Goku's feet are literally eating through his shoes. So he really does need a new one. They get him hooked up with some fresh J's, and he redoes the run and peels out of there so fast that a gust of wind follows him, and he makes the run in 8 seconds flat, shattering the world record by sprinting at nearly 28 miles an hour.
I actually thought that Goku was just going to do it barefoot.
I bet he could have done better.
That's what I was thinking.
He's a wild monkey boy. He'd probably do better with bare feet. Krillin is literally floored by his speed. Like, he's standing there, and then a few seconds later he topples off to the side, like, oh, wow! Roshi says that they're at the top of their league, but that's not enough for Turtle Hermit training. After all, this was the man who hulked out and shot lasers from his hands, so you have to learn how to surpass your limits, and Goku is all about surpassing limits. Roshi takes off his shell, and he herks that sumbitch, across the way. And he's like, oh, yeah, here we go. And he starts creaking and cracking. Every motion that he makes, every bone cracks, and it's disgusting.
I literally thought Master Roshi was just gonna full on instant transmissions behind the kids.
He does go pretty fast. When they get him to go, it makes a bullet sound effect, and he just appears. He gets the time of 5.6 seconds, and thankfully I still had my calculator open because I just had to check this out. My main man, Master Chad Roshi, was running at a speed of 40 miles an hour. And he stops, right in front of him, and he's in a mid-running pose, and he slowly turns to Krillin and he goes, "What's my time?" Goku wants to learn how to run like that, and Roshi's like, oh yeah? That should be easy. It's just surpassing normal human limitations. It's not hard.
And I love that he keeps quoting human limitations.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know that is literally going to be the entire series.
Yep.
From now on.
Every character is going to learn how to surpass their limits.
And I haven't watched Dragon Ball Z, but I do hear Vegeta's speeches, and Vegeta's probably one of my favorite speeches, or speech-giving characters in any anime. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He's always talking about how he pushed past his limits. That was actually pretty good. Master Roshi claims that all that running made his tongue dry, and his first request was so good I had to write it down. He says, Goku, go grab me a brewski. And, the second that he said it, my brain imagined this Dragon Ball branded beer koozie, and, I need that now. I don't even drink, and I need that.
That'd be pretty cool.
And immediately, we get this follow-up line from Goku, which is amazing, and he says, what's a brewski? Krillin runs off to get one, and he is stoked that Master Roshi is the real deal, and not just some dirty old man. But I would say, Master Roshi can be two things. He can be the real deal and a dirty old man.
I I wonder if Master Roshi goes through teaching Goku about common sense.
Actually, yeah.
Really?
I don't remember the exact quote, but it's something like, you work hard, you train hard, you study hard, and you relax hard. That's the turtle hermit training way.
Mm.
And then it's like, he's like, listen, you can be the strongest dude in the world, but if you're dumb as a bag of rocks, what are we going to do? So he does actually try to make him a little smarter.
Okay. That's a good point.
Mm-hmm. As Krillin goes back to the Kame house, he accidentally kicks up some dust and makes Launch sneeze, who then chases him out of the house with a knife. Being chased also helps him get a new best time. He's like, oh yeah, got it under 10 seconds there.
He's fighting Launch with a knife. He books it. Yeah. They're gone.
She sneezes again, and we see Krillin with a knife planted in the ground between his legs, and he's wet himself, because Akira Toriyama can just not have that not happen.
I don't blame him. Did you see how close that knife was?
Yeah, he collapses in fear once it's all over. I don't normally point out the commercial breaks, because usually it just flows pretty nicely, but we cut away to commercial, and when we come back, we are just slammed with this line that catches me so off guard that I actually laughed. We come back, and it's sunset, so Roshi's been talking for a while now, and he says, and that's a brief explanation of how to go beyond your limits.
I actually had to rewind, because I thought I missed it. I thought I missed the briefing.
I was like, dude, we still don't know how that works. You can't just say that and yada yada it away for the audience.
Alex, I actually rewinded.
You're like, no, did I miss something? I was like, no, this is important to literally the entire show. And they're just like, yeah, whatever. Don't worry about it.
Oh, bad.
I'm gonna make this comparison. This is technobabble for the Dragon Ball world. Like, the multimodal processing, and we subsurface scattering, blah 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 blah, and we figured out how to reverse the polarity of the beams. And no, this is their version of that. They're just gonna gloss over it, and we don't have to think about it for the rest of the show. Either way, Roshi prepares one more test before dinner, and he picks up a rock, and he draws the turtle hermit symbol on it, and then he just hurks that sumbitch into the jungle. The kids have to compete.
But before he, launches it, oh, man, it's typical Goku. It's like, are you going to eat it, Master Roshi? Master Roshi was like, what? No, Goku. I'm not going to eat it.
The hell is wrong with you? Yes, the kids are going to have to compete. The first to get the stone gets to eat, and the other goes hungry. And this isn't safe, because we all know how Goku eats. If he doesn't get a meal, there's a good chance he could literally die.
Oh, man.
Roshi explains that anyone can throw a stone, like how anyone can throw a punch, but this training is more than martial arts and getting buff. It's about focusing your mind and spirit, calming down, and becoming one with all your senses. And I like Master Roshi's training because there's this kind of spiritualism and self-improvement to it that I can really get behind.
Mm.
Like, Master Roshi might be a lecherous old pervert, but he's actually right. Also, they're informed that if nobody gets the rock in 30 minutes, they'll both go hungry. So they take off to the cliff's edge overlooking the forest, and immediately Goku just jumps. He leaps over the edge, and I love this bit. Mystical Adventure kicks in. It's his theme song. You know good stuff's gonna happen. And he grabs onto a branch, looking like he's gonna swing from it, and it just snaps, and the music stops.
Oh, man. I was getting pumped from that as well when I was watching. I was like, man, he's in his nature, and then
it just breaks and he falls.
Almost like dies. Then he hits his head, and he's just there for a second. It's like,
Krillin panics because Goku just got a big lead on him for the search for the stone, but he stops. And he thinks smarter, not harder, and he comes up with a scheme. He picks up a rock and he runs to a stranger's house, and a black woman with a not-so-kosher design comes out.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to take a second here. There is no joke. All right? This is a legitimate problem that Dragon Ball has had because Japan does not have the same racial prejudices that America had. So you see things like a little bit differently. And this is going to be something, as you move forward with Dragon Ball, you're going to see it more.
Oh, okay. There's
several characters that have this design where they're black characters and they have the big red lips. And there is, like, it's taken to the extreme. There's a character called Mr. Popo, who is...
Wait, I've heard of this. Wasn't this like a dumpster fire on Twitter at one point?
Probably. It would not surprise me, because Mr. Popo is a genie who has pure black skin, big bulging eyes, and the big red lips. And it was so bad that when Dragon Ball Z Kai comes out, or when they were airing it on Nickelodeon, they recolored Mr. Popo to be blue.
I remember that, yeah.
And so, he's the extreme of it. They didn't see anything wrong with this. And I just want to make that abundantly clear. They aren't trying to be racist with this. They just didn't know better.
Gotcha.
So...
cultural
differences.
They just didn't know, I guess.
They were so far removed from all of the racial problems in America. And, slavery wasn't a thing in Japan for black people.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, they're like, so what's the big deal? That's how they saw it. I believe that they, after Dragon Ball comes out, they stop doing that, thankfully. But here, it's the 80s, and they still haven't figured that out. So, back to making jokes. Goku's in the woods, and he picks up the scent of sweat and turtle shell, so he knows he's close. And with that being said, it's good to know what Master Roshi smells like now. He's a sweaty old man that smells like turtle. Krillin uses the marker that the woman gave him to recreate the symbol that Master Roshi wrote on the rock, and he's a dirty little cheater, and he's a bastard boy, and I don't like him. Meanwhile, Launch is cutting up vegetables in the kitchen, while Master Roshi stands in the doorway menacingly. Like, he's slightly tucked around the corner, but only 1/4 of him is covered. And he is just laser locked onto that booty. He's he's getting right up back there. He knows the risk, but there's nothing that Master Roshi can't do at this point.
It's like, we're shaking up for done here. My God.
And he's right about to get all up in there with those grabby hands, and then Krillin runs in, prompting Launch to turn around and almost stab Roshi. Like, his eyes bulge through the sunglasses as he makes the dodge.
He destroys the dinner table as he fell back.
He backflips over.
Like, the table crumbles.
Master Roshi is the best character. Krillin hands Roshi the stone, and he looks at it for a second before just chucking it back at Krillin's head, making it swell up. And Roshi says, "Nice try, lame-o, but that's not my handwriting."
I have that quoted down, too. Nice try, lame-o. Master Roshi. But I love how he just stares at it, too.
Yeah, he stares at it for a while, like,
Like a minute.
You can't pull a fast one on Master Roshi.
This isn't my handwriting.
He's kicked out, and he runs into the jungle, where he's almost immediately attacked by a saber-toothed tiger. But Krillin's no slouch. He lands a nice elbow drop on it, knocking it out instantly. And it's kind of like Goku at the very first episode where he's chased by a saber-toothed tiger.
Yeah.
They're just real strong meat babies. Both of these boys. Goku finds the stone because he's a dog. He can smell the scent of Master Roshi on things that he's only briefly touched. Krillin's like, Are you sure? You better let me check that for you. And then he just steals it from Goku. Man, Krillin sucks!
I was expecting that, to be honest. Because when I see these two, I just see these two as the two kids at daycare that just cannot stay out of trouble.
Mm-hmm. He's trying to take shortcuts in his training, and that's not the Turtle Hermit way. You can't do that.
Mm-hmm. Work hard.
Mm-hmm. Goku chases Krillin over a bridge, and Krillin cuts the ropes, making Goku do his best Looney Tunes bit where he runs in the air before looking directly at the camera and falling. And as he's falling, the only thing I could think of was, bro, you have the Nimbus.
I wanted to say he could have used the Nimbus, but I was like, I'm sure they didn't use it for a reason, though. But
it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Like, I was like, maybe he's not thinking straight, whatever. But somehow he just appears.
Yeah, that's what I said. I was like, he's either gonna use the Nimbus or he'll just come back later. No, they just pan the camera over to the right a little bit. He's back.
And he's just like, he's super pissed. He's running through sheer anger.
Yeah, like I've never seen Goku like this frustrated before.
Goku
like,
was about to die with Pilaf, but no, this is what gets him. He messed up his dinner.
The audacity.
They agree to spar for it at first. It looks like it's going to be a pretty close match. You get some cool kicks and some blocks and everything, but like 5 seconds in, it turns into a cartoon cloud. You know, you just start seeing stars and legs and arms flying everywhere. Just real Looney Tunes shit. When the dust settles, Goku is the victor, and Krillin gives him back the rock by chucking it into the forest. And I said it before, and I'll say it again. Krillin is a bastard. You just really want to see him get his. Goku runs back into the jungle, but it's revealed that Krillin threw the fake rock, and he pocketed the real one.
Did you when you first watched Dragon Ball, did you see that one coming? I saw that one coming, to be honest.
Because Krillin's a bastard. You know, I was like in first grade or whatever, and I'm sitting at the TV, and I'm watching this happen, and I'm like, oh, come on, Krillin, don't be a bastard. And my mom was like, Alex, what the fuck? Damn it, I said fuck. I said damn it and fuck. What am I doing? Mom, am I a bastard?
I didn't know, would you say bastard is a pretty bad word?
I mean, it's a curse word. I wouldn't...
Because that's a word that I said throughout elementary school, and no teachers corrected me on it because I learned it from, like, Family Guy.
You bastard.
You bastard. And I just didn't know it was, like, a swear word, or maybe more like the more lenient ones, I guess you could say.
I would have gotten in trouble for it at school if I said bastard.
Really?
Yep.
Okay. Because I never did.
Like, I think bastard is on the same level as bitch. It's like the male form of bitch.
Gotcha. Okay. Gotcha. So. I didn't think of it like that. That's a good way to put it. I've never had a way to, like, evaluate the word bastard.
You look up the word bastard in the dictionary, and there's just this picture of young Krillin. Launch is setting the table by this point, and I love any time that we see Roshi getting ready to perv out, because he's usually just sitting there quietly, and then his sunglasses will shine over, and you get this nice pushing sound effect. You're like, oh, he's activating. He knows he shouldn't, but that precious booty is right there. And once again, Krillin rock blocks him, revealing the stone. Roshi even calls him out on it. He's like, do you time this?
I mean, I'm pretty sure he would ask that. It's the second time he's done it.
Mm-hmm.
Right before he catches what he wants.
Of course, he's got the real stone, and Krillin wins his dinner. And the assholes, they make poor Goku stand in the corner of the room and watch them eat their scrumptious meal. And they don't even give him a little rice. Do you want him to starve? Those jerks.
I honestly thought Goku was going to be coming back tonight. I thought he was still going to be in the jungle.
Well, he knew that after 30 minutes, they would have failed anyway, so...
Oh, yeah, you're right. After 30 minutes, time was up. So Master Roshi knew that keeping them out there all night probably wasn't the best choice.
They do get their comeuppance, though, because Launch reveals that they've been eating pufferfish stew, and Roshi and Krillin are like, oh dear god, no. They start dropping like flies, their faces turn blue, and, you know, poor Launch didn't know. It looks like she hasn't eaten yet, so at least she's in the clear. Even in the next morning, while Goku's refreshed and ready to go, Roshi crawls out the door and says that they'll take the day off before collapsing in pain and then dying on the spot. Goku's training, and really the entire show is just done here.
Did you listen to the noises Master Roshi made as he was dying?
No, because he died instantly.
Did he? I could have sworn he was still like groaning and stuff.
Phoup, what the hell did you watch?
I'm pretty sure.
The narrator literally says that the next 4 episodes are all the funeral saga. He says funeral saga.
Oh,
it's fucked up. They're playing heavy music. A man died, Phoup.
There's no way. Maybe I'm getting them mixed up from other times when Master Roshi died.
You're right. He was brought back several times. I was just surprised that the cancer arc went away that fast. Like, they made a big deal out of it. Really? Prostate cancer's no joke. Why are you laughing?
I'm laughing because they had an arc like that. What?
Don't you? That was the last episode that we read.
No.
I just wanted to fuck with you to see what would happen at the end of an episode.
Oh, I didn't know you said this. I didn't know you said this arc. I thought you were like, oh, there's an arc. I thought you were trying to tell me that there was an arc where Master Roshi has prostate cancer.
No, he doesn't actually die. And
but the dude is like immortal. So can you just live on with cancer?
Well, let's see. They said that he drank from the fountain of youth.
Does that heal everything?
Does that make you heal? I don't know.
If he doesn't, then
I don't think it does. I don't think it does.
Okay.
He's still susceptible to disease.
I see. Yeah, like the pufferfish.
Yep.
Or poisoning. Yeah.
This does conclude our set of episodes for the week, though. It's nice to be back after a week off. I really do love watching these. It's always a blast. I think that this set of episodes that we watched really laid the groundwork for character dynamics and stuff. We get to see more of Roshi, which I love, and Launch is a really nice addition to the cast. The format changed from a ball hunting adventure and is now going to be more about training with Roshi and Krillin. And actually, as we move on, it's going to be more about the fighting. So he's going to train and he's going to fight. So Goku, in the previous episodes, whenever he got into a fight, it would always be pretty one-sided. And it was exciting when, he went up against Yamcha and he was able to put up a fair fight.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be more stuff like that.
Okay.
Still goofy stuff because it's Dragon Ball, but also there's going to be a little more action.
Look, if they have moments like Goku was like, "You gonna eat that rock, Mr. Roshi?"
Oh yeah.
I'll be happy.
All right,
man. That scene was that was funny.
it's just good. It's just good.
Like what? No, Goku. I'm not gonna eat this rock.
So yeah, how do you feel about this set that we just watched?
Oh,
what are your thoughts on that?
Fucking hilarious. I loved it. A lot of jokes, a lot of things that made me laugh. With this one, there was a lot of enjoyable moments. It was a good way to wind down from all the huge gorilla action from all the that Goku was doing, tearing down Pilaf's castle and all the ball hunting. So now it's like, oh, hey, it's time to just take it a little bit slower and relax. So,
yeah, we're going to be doing something new, and this is how we're easing you into it.
Mm-hmm.
Compared to the end of the Pilaf saga, do you think that you're going to enjoy this kind of feeling episodes more, or was the Pilaf saga, that adventure, more your speed for Dragon Ball?
I think this set of episodes is more my speed. Because they just kept doing that stupid smash cuts.
yeah.
That just gets me every time. Like the mermaid one. where Goku jumps off the cliff, or just simple funny stuff, and it was really enjoyable to watch.
Hmm.
Eventually, we'll get back to the hunting of the balls.
Yes.
Eventually, but I'll look forward to this like new set.
Goku's just got to get his hands on those balls. This is Grandpa's ball. Yeah, where do you think that this is going to go next? Like the immediate next set of episodes, what do you think that's going to include?
Either Goku is going to run into a challenge already, like a challengeable opponent, or they're just going to be doing that type of bullshit training as find the rock in the forest. That was obviously just meant to make time for Mr. Roshi to get some grabby hand action.
What I am absolutely shocked about is you're a little more on the nose, or like on the money with the second one. There's going to be more training.
Okay.
But if I remember correctly, Master Roshi's serious about it. Like, he's not just trying to get these boys away so he can get all up under Launch's skirt. He's legitimately gonna work them.
Yeah, I realized that from the first test because he explains why he wanted them to run.
Mm-hmm.
At least it's like, oh, just run around the island or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
he could have said that. He could have said that. Yeah, Master Roshi is he made some fair points, and it made me realize that before we end this, it made me realize that as the more I see Goku, the more I kind of see myself as a kid. Because I was a brash kid as well. I was really ignorant. I had no common sense. Because I really had no one. I didn't have that many friends in my childhood. It was mostly just me. So most of the time, until I met a childhood friend, which was my neighbor, I broke into people's houses because I didn't know the doorbell was the thing. Did I already tell this story?
You just walked into people's houses?
Dude, I walked into my childhood neighbor's house, started eating their cereal. And I don't even remember the story because when I came back to my dad's, I'm currently living with my dad at the moment. But like when I came back to my dad's, I saw my neighbor and they're like telling me these stories. Like, yeah, I remember when you were younger, I was hearing noises in the morning, and I was like, I was getting ready to kill. I was getting ready to kill, and he was coming down. It was like the noise is coming from the kitchen. As he came down the stairs, he saw me. He's like, "Oh, thank God, it's just you, I." And I was my nickname at the for growing up with my fam. Like, I is my nickname,
Mm-hmm.
in the family, and like my neighbors are pretty close, so that's what they call me as well. But that wasn't the only story I had too. I broke into other people's houses until finally, one of them, they were just watching TV. I barged in, and I'm like, "Hey, I'm here to play," and they're like, you can't do that." I'm like, "Do what? You can't just barge through the front door." I'm like, "Why?" He's like, "Well, this is our house." So they literally had me go outside and like simulate or practice on how to properly show up at people's houses, which was to knock on the door, say hello, and ask if I can come in. That was the day I realized there's a lot I need to learn.
That's the day that you realized that you had to stop doing things arbitrarily like a dog.
Yeah. And to this day, like I was like what, 4, 5, 6 years old. I'm like 20, 22 now, and my neighbor still brings up this story because that was like an eye opener for him as well, because realizing that kids will always be kids, and just teaching like it taught him like the ignorant bliss of some children, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What a fantastic story.
I got more, but those are probably the peak ones about my childhood. And that's what I see of Goku whenever that's what I was like, is Master Roshi going to teach him some common sense?
Yeah, I think Goku is a great stand-in for childhood innocence and freedom and doing things arbitrarily like a dog.
Yeah.
He's a good kid.
So that's my story for tonight for this set.
I always like hearing him because like, not to say that you come from a different world, but it's like your experience and my experience growing up are so two totally different things. So it's always funny. Let's see. Next time we'll be watching episodes 17 through 20, which is starting with Milk Delivery and ending with Elimination Round.
Okay.
And that surprised me. Remember I had said earlier that I was looking through episode titles and I was like, oh, wait a minute, that's where we're going through here already? That was quick. We're just moving at a really good pace.
Yeah, 4 episodes a week. I'd say that's pretty good. I think 3 would have been just fine, but I think it'd be a tad too slow in my opinion.
Yeah, there's a lot going on in the show, so you need to kind of have a more brisk pace.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else that you'd like to add tonight?
Other than that story, I hope you guys enjoyed that story of me just being just a straight up arbitrary dog. Other than that, I really am thankful for you guys tuning in on this podcast and listening to my first time experience. It's been very enjoyable. So I hope that you join us in the next one.
Yeah. Thanks again, everyone, for watching. Like I said, we'll be back next week. We're going back on our weekly schedule, probably until like Christmas, where I have not yet decided on what we're going to be doing for then, but it's always a busier time.
Yeah, I think this month is going to be a little bit busy for me too, but I think it should be doable.
Yeah, we shall see what's going to happen. If we need to take another week off, then we'll take another week off somewhere down the line, but you can expect to see us next week. Same Goku time, same Goku channel.